This kid got looked down on and dismissed by his own family, like he was never worth anything, and they even threw him in the water, trying to drown him on the spot. As he dropped, his past life slammed into him all at once, memories crashing in like a tidal wave. The reveal hit hard. His name was Theodore, and the truth was brutal. He was hooked on gambling, who got stabbed by a robber and only to be dropped into this brand new world just to get your life ripped away again. Right as death closes in, a voice cuts through the dark and calls his name. And when he finally opens his eyes, there she is, the girl who saved his life. As the memories slam back into place, it hits him hard. He isn't anyone else anymore. He's Theodore Gartner. And that girl is Grace. She's been loyal to his family, through thick and thin. But she's not some run-of-the-mill maid, not even close. She's a brutal warrior too, swinging a gigantic axe like it's nothing. Clutching the hard-earned truth from both of his past lives, he snaps, ditches the old life, and bolts after freedom, ready to carve his own path from scratch. Right now, his only mission is to reach the city of Tamwells. A real-life dungeon from his game shows up in the world, and it hands him a crazy, unfair advantage. So Theodore, Grace, and their guards launched into the unknown, kicking off their journey. Right when she vows to guard him with her very life. Just as life settles down, the group's carriage gets slammed by a sudden attack. He snaps his detection magic on instantly, and then he spots enemies skulking behind distant trees. The monsters lunge at them with savage fury, but Grace instantly whips out her massive axe, and he whips through his opponents, cutting them down piece by piece. Some monsters decide to spring an ambush on Theodore, then one brutal strike and they go flying. More guards slam into the fight, swelling the chaos, so their victory felt locked in and unstoppable. Once the threats were crushed, he finally lets his guard down and collapses into rest. Because this crew's wild adventure is only just starting right now. The very next day, they rolled into a tiny little town. Right after that, the crew scattered. Everyone took off to handle their own missions. Meanwhile, Theodore got hit with a brutally intense welcome the moment he arrived, coming from a furious, stressed captain who ripped into them because they'd done his job for him. As he strolls through the city streets, he suddenly runs into a little girl named Ashley Laterius Shern, our local princess. She shoots a quick apology after her soldier's rude behavior explodes in everyone's face. Ashley clocks that Theodore's the same age as her, yet he moves and talks like some kind of seasoned adult, or even if she's barely holding up her own health. Theodore couldn't shake the feeling that something was seriously wrong with her, and when we got the opening, we seized it, digging into her condition like our lives depended on it. Armed with his understanding of vital energy, he locks onto the inner flow moving through her body. Then he pushes things into overdrive, speeding up her physical recovery. She's completely stunned, staring at what just happened, wondering what kind of magic could possibly do that. After the healing hits, she springs into a run, weightless and unstoppable, like her feet barely touch the ground. With pure joy blazing in her eyes, she rushes up to Theodore. He opens the door and thanks him for saving him. Only now, at last, does real relief finally hit. After trading words for a while, Theodore finally has to slip out and head on his way. Even with the town feeling like home and his new friend by his side, he still had to chase the destiny waiting for him. After a brutal long journey, he finally smashes through to his ultimate goal, the grand labyrinth city of Term, where everything is about to ignite for him. He's totally caught up in the city's vibe, staring like he can't blink. Theodore tells you the first move is to swing by Rosetta and hand over those letters. They split up again, each one rushing off to tackle their own mission. The moment he arrived at the Rosetta mansion, a woman swings the door wide, steps in with confidence, and introduces herself Rosetta. Then he blurts out Theodore and Grace's names on the spot, and boom, shock hits them like a punch. She tells you she's known him since he was nothing but a tiny baby. Theodore thrusts the letter into her hands right as it clicks into place and adds, he begged for help so he could finally settle in the city. His first move is demanding a place of his own right there, a house, no less. Rosetta grants the boys their wish, but tells them they're crashing at her mansion because she's starting house hunting tomorrow. The very next day, they rush straight to the city's real estate agent and lock down a house to become the crew's brand new base. Next, he took off to slam through the paperwork for his brand new guild. They officially filed the paperwork, locked the team in, and finally got the green light to plunge into the labyrinth. While he pored over every last detail of the expedition, a shady crew kept eyes on him from way across the street, like they were waiting for the perfect moment. Right after he finished setting everything up, he rushed to the alchemist to go grab some magical creatures to use as living self-defense. She launched the summoning ritual with full focus, and tomorrow he's finally ready to charge straight into the labyrinth. After a brutal non-stop day, he finally tore himself away and stumbled home to crash and recharge. The next morning, he shot out of bed, buzzing with readiness for the big moment ahead. He and the girls stride toward the labyrinth, and the way it looks is downright eerie. From the outside, it looked exactly like a giant mansion, but the second they're inside, a woman steps in and reveals a gigantic spiral staircase that plunges straight into the dark depths below. After dropping down for what felt like forever, they finally stumble into the lower floor, only to realize they weren't alone. Someone was right there with them. Mages were sneaking behind the walls, ready to strike the moment the time was right. Theodore shot off a spell the second the moment hit. He shattered the wall, then tore through the spies with a deafening blast. The last enemies burst out of hiding and surged forward to attack, but these guys, they were nothing. No threat at all compared to the scale of Theodore's guild. The last survivor slammed the final switch and unleashed a giant magic circle, and it twisted into a terrifying chimera monster. Right as the chimera was about to lunge and end everything, Theodore slammed up multiple ice barriers, blocking the hit with sheer force. But the force was so crushing that it still might. He finally landed the blow and sent him crashing through the air like a bullet. Ice walls erupted all around, popping up like a storm. Heroes are trapped with nowhere to go, and those monsters already know exactly where to chase, so get ready, kid. The creature hurls an icicle. Lance-sharp ice shards scream through the air straight at Theodore, but he snaps his staff up and swats their attacks aside, leaving the monster absolutely rattled and speechless. Then he storms straight at the beast, yelling as he charges, asking, he's just staring like, why am I so shocked? What's going on? Am I really that surprised? The MC slams a flawless strike straight onto the creature's head, knocked a tooth clean out and swears he won't get fooled by the same magic trick twice. The manticore is running out of steam. You're thinking, how is it losing to this kid? But the MC doesn't flinch. He's still hammering through, still sprinting, no signs of slowing down. For the grand finale, the hero is ramping up unleashing a mind-bending magic called resonance mines. You ready to blow up a whole bunch? A cluster of tiny mini-bombs scattered all around the creature, ready to blow. Every mythological beast got pummeled, and now they're wrecked, zero power left to strike. And it's clinging on by sheer willpower. But this is the last step. Right before the final blow lands, a voice screams out, and a massive axe slams down like doom itself. He severed the creature's scorpion limb clean off. It ended with a massive crash. Grace rockets in to save the day, and at last the creature's dropped out cold onto the ground. Rosetta strides in, Roton blood coursing through her veins, double-checking that the creature is absolutely wiped out for good. At last, no more problems, as relief hit like a breath out of his chest. The girl blurts a joke like, for a second there, it really felt like someone was pulling off a massive prank. But seriously, this is genuinely scary. The protagonist maid barges in. They link fingers, and the boy nervously twists the ring that locks her powers in place, begging for forgiveness and making her worry sick. Smiling, she tells him it's fine, because as long as he's safe, she'll take anything. But Rosetta spots weird black stones scattered across the ceiling. The MC is completely stumped, like his brain just hit a wall. I've never seen those things in the game before, so the adventurers slam the baddies down, tie them up tight, and shout for backup. Go on, our heroes lean in, hungry for the mysteries ahead, because they know this is only the very first step. The guild girl furiously scribbles a letter, like the fate of everything hinges on every word, trading stories about the rough-and-tumble adventurers everyone calls Snakebite, always stirring up trouble like it's his favorite hobby. The heroes, they're gonna come back strong. You'll get rewarded the second everything's finally confirmed. The adventurers rip the hyphens apart and swap them around. High fives crack through the air as they celebrate a job well done, and the moment's about to snap into the next part. After their heartfelt goodbyes, Theodore leans in and asks Rosetta if she wants a ride in the carriage. But she's craving a little time all to herself, urging him to hit her up for round 2 of their wild adventures. Today, our adventurers got thrown into a total whirlwind, one wild ride after another. and they desperately need to shut it down and finally get some serious chill time. The young boy jerks awake, completely stunned, like something's about to snap the world in half, lumped down on a huge pillow like the world can't touch him. Surprise, Grace's bust hits even harder than you think. He remembers they hauled the landlord's bed back, and now they're stuck floor camping like it's their new home. He tiptoes for freedom, desperate not to wake her up, and a wave of nostalgia crashes over him. Theodore and his maid used to party up after every hunt. Then he'd pass out like a baby the moment she was nearby. But while he's stuck daydreaming, she jolts awake. All morning long, the sunshine flooded in, blushing like it had no idea how to act. Our hero finally decides it's time to grab some furniture and make a place feel like home, especially a bed, because that's a painfully awkward situation. The maid tells him to calm down as she whips up breakfast like it's a mission. But hey, now we're doing this together, so say the word and let's go. Then they sprint straight to the guild. As they head out, they slam into Lucien and the Forest Birds crew guys, who were already buzzing about the hero's insane day from yesterday. The squads were fired up, throwing praise like trophies for bagging those sneaky bandits. And now every adventurer is whispering about it like it's the next big breakthrough. They share a tearful goodbye, and then Ms. Heather walks away. Heather blurts, Someone's hunting for you in the guild room right now. Turns out it's Ashley, and the main dude's jaw drops like it just hit the floor. Props in tow, they all rush straight to the room. Heather bolts off to sort the reward while they keep talking. Inside, the Baroness is grinning ear to ear like she's been craving this reunion for ages, and they finally arrived. The main guy leans in to check on her, and she just snaps. Felt way better, and even snagged a ride solo in the guild's dragon carriage. She's saying she's heading off to study in the turmoil, so she might be gone for a little while. Berlin told him the guild can pass messages, and on top of that, she's got a favor lined up for Theodore. It's a blood circulation treatment for Ashley's health, like they're pushing the science hard just so she stays okay. Everyone's all noble. The kids are just chilling together, and honestly, it sounds like wedding bells are seconds away, even if he's just some illegitimate kid. The main dude's got Ashley falling hard like she thinks he's amazing. Meanwhile, the Baroness is practically vibrating with excitement, begging Grace to teach her embroidery. Grace is down only when she's got a moment while the main guys scan the area, and he starts realizing he's got to start sweating for his crew. And the maids are like, "What's up?" He flashes that grin like he's up to something. He promises he'll fill Grace in later. But with everything shifting non-stop, tomorrow's loaded, there's no time to breathe. Just Theodore and his maid, so he drops the truth and spills everything he's been sensing about Berlin's secret schemes. And because of all that, he's got something crucial for Grace to hear right now. Don't panic, seriously, keep it together. He tells her he knows she's loyal, because his mum taught him to spot it. But he's begging her to finally let it go. He swallows hard, forcing himself to stay brave, and asks if she's cool with staying by his side because he wants to be right there with her. Locking eyes with her, he blurted out the big question like his heart was about to explode. He leaned in and asked if she'd marry him. Sweat drips down his face because he knows she'll need a little time. But Grace finally gets it, and she leans in grinning like, "Yeah, I know exactly what you mean." But before she even answers, she makes sure he knows this Lisa isn't the only reason she's here. When she lost her parents, Grace had nowhere left to run, so she slipped into the forest and stayed hidden as a half-vampire. She was terrified of humans because to her they looked like snacks. And this was before magic tools existed, so all she could do was partially quench her thirst. But now she's got the hang of the tools, and Grace thinks he might have forgotten because he was the very first one to spot her out in the forest. And that baby Theodore grin just lit her up like crazy, instantly making her feel over the moon. Lisa clocked Grace and pressed a ring and a home into her hands, and just like that, Grace could hug a kid without worrying for once. Theodore never flinched at the half-vampire, and that basically saved her life. If he wants her by his side, he better say it out loud. A half-vampire might turn full vamp when hunger hits. But lately, Grace has been feeling it even when he isn't around, and she's desperate to know why, so she asks him, "Do you know why?" If he clocks it, it's probably just her nerves firing off. Her voice trembles as she confesses that his kindness has spoiled her rotten, but she's terrified he'll bail, so she has to make him understand right now. So tell me, after she spills everything, can he really handle being with someone cursed like her? All the main guys, don't stress about your condition, everything's going to be okay. And if that vampy urge hits, I'd be thrilled to be the spark that started it. Even with Grace dropping all those strong words, she still can't shake the fear that she might end up causing him trouble, because the truth is, as long as it's her, he's calm, everything's chill. But yeah, even then, he's still out here like, I'm gonna mess up and stress her out sometimes. And that's the part that makes it so real. The girl can't stop wondering if this is really all about what Beline said, mentions Ashley and she'll be fired up too, because she genuinely thinks she's the best. So yeah, the Baroness might just feel the same way about that guy, but that maid's got no business dealing with this mess. It's got to be said by the right person. Boom, there goes the vampire. The Empire rolled in and demanded they be called the old name, at least for now. And just like that, the hero's down for the count. With a razor-sharp grin and flushed cheeks, the young lady thanks him, then calls him Theo. The very next day after that explosive confession, the lovebirds tore through the city like sparks flying through the night. They hooked arms and hit the streets for a full-on shopping spree. And just like that, the sea rush, the couple's laid-back new chapter, kicks off in term. Now they're kicked back in a steaming bath, soaking up some much-needed downtime while the adventurer duo chills together. Turns out, Grace is way more obsessed with hugs than the hero ever guessed. Ever since that huge confession day, she's been clinging like crazy. They're jawing about tomorrow because the hero's finally set to kick off his Magic Academy classes. And the girls were dying to tag along, waiting room or nothing, so bam, time cracks open and surprise blows the whole moment wide open. Ashley's got the same app running too. Taught him the applied magic class as the hero. A kid's ear-splitting scream slices through the air. Kids were screaming like it was the end of the world because they had to suffer through some lame subject. That loud-mouthed kid, Tarcot Morris's son from the Duke Carter fam, everyone knows him for his straight-up magic skills. He had skills on lock, but he also had a hair-trigger temper. Theodore corners Ashley and asks how the healing magic class went, and she lights up like, I nailed it thanks to your tips. The hero reckoned the Baroness would absolutely smash it with this magic, and she's absolutely crushing basic healing magic using nothing but tips. Talk about epic. The girl's sitting there, debating if she can cast spells without chanting if she memorizes everything, and grinds through that applied magic class. Then the teacher storms in, and boom, magic powers explode everywhere. It's the kind of power you can tap, put your will into it, and watch reality bend, change its shape and mess with how it works. Like you're rewriting the whole thing from the ground up. Since they're firing up fire magic, the whole class breaks outside fast. Ashley ignites a tiny flame. Flames roar in her hand, and Theo hands it to her. He took the shot and nailed it instantly. Letting the magic equation do the work means zero stress about controlling anything. Every time he sparks the fireplace, controlling his magic feels like a total headache. Then the Baroness leans in and asks if the boys ever learned applied magic, and he just shrugs. Yep, they only drilled attack spells into their heads, mostly because time was running out and his magic was already fading from the beat. The blazing BFO system. As they're still chatting, Tarcot barges in like a wrecking ball, snatches the conversation, and demands to know if Ashley's really the Lady of Shern. Theo scrambles to answer. Then the girl strides forward and boldly announces, I'm the Baroness, demanding to know what the kid wants. The rude kids, they really go out of their way to be mean like, my dad got hit with a marriage proposal ages ago, and then the other side straight up vanished, leaving him on red. A year back, they say Tarcot snapped. His magic went out of control, and he seriously hurt his fiancée. So the engagement crumbled. After that, every potential bride ran for the hills, and now his dad is spamming proposals to every noble girl in sight. Ashley smiles politely and asks him straight up which family he's from. She knows Duke Cardiff's name, sure, but she's never once heard about the proposal. The young lady insists it's urgent, so they have to wait on word from her main house, and then she'll send the whole thing straight to the Duke. The grumpy kid whips around and fixes the hero with a glare. Bro, he's like, who do you think you are? Once he heard the Baroness had no fiancé at all, our heroes square their shoulders and nope, not backing down. Then the teacher spots the chaos, rushes over and demands to know what's wrong. Now the teachers break into training groups, ready to level up, stare each other down and soak up everything you can. A bunch of tiny troublemakers swarm around Theodore and, blown away by how deadly good he was at what he did, the hero leans in and tells them if the incantations keep flowing, the magic equation will kick in and work its power while, for now, Tarkot's straight up losing it right now, like a bomb about to blow, yelling at the top of his lungs, losing his mind over how he can't even do it. He could do something so basic without even breaking a sweat, even with his medium-level magic skills. He spots the kid chanting some weird incantation and thinks, what on earth is this goofball up to? That reckless menace whips up a giant fire cyclone and somehow still strolls around like he's already won, smug as hell, claiming he has zero time to learn useless applied magic. Then, from the corner, our MC star burst into view like a spotlight had just snapped on. He whips his hand up and starts charging a portal like it's about to explode, and boom, he rips a black hole into existence, and it devours that massive cyclone like it's nothing. Storming out, the impulsive kid left him absolutely furious. He strides up to Theo and demands to know what kind of magic that was, and our boys all go, "Bro, it's anti-fire magic, duh." Then they're like, "So why'd the wild one pull that stunt?" Tarkot snaps at the MC, screaming that he's dumb, then tells him to back off. Since everyone in Cardiff calls this kid the fierce little puppy, if the MC finally decides to treat him like a real one and blurts, he admits he has no idea how much longer he can rein in his magic. He taunts the kid, asking if he truly thinks those magic skills make him better than everyone, because that fierce puppy, it buys the hype instantly. And yeah, the kid's reputation wasn't built on kindness. He earned it by constantly bossing people around, raised to worship power. Even though there's a little sorry weight on his heart, our hero clocks it instantly. If that kid's obsessed with power, all he has to do is show who runs the show, so the MC slams down a bet, sets up a duel, and if the fierce little puppy loses, he's stuck studying whatever it is. No whining allowed, but if he wins. The MC is about to teach him some wildly epic portal magic. Even the teachers stared in disbelief, shocked that Theo could pull off magic like this at his age. They lock in the deal, only low-level moves, nothing higher. No. Chance then the spell hits, and suddenly there's no way out. Quitters, runners, or anyone who gets KO'd. One way or another, the other one takes the win. Grace storms in looking worried, but the heroes stay cool. She says it's just a duel, and she'll jump in the moment anyone gets hurt. And boom, the fight erupts, and it hits the MC like a flashback. Straight back to the days when he used to go hard in PvP in the old BFO days. Yanks out his wand and then he spots it. Realizes the other guy doesn't, which sends him into a fury, convinced they're trying to sell him short. Then, that fierce little puppy leapt forward with pure fury. Puppy unleashes his air bullet spell right on cue, only for the exact same magic to snap it out of existence, leaving him completely rattled. Watching that fierce little puppy go wild, Puppy's moves are locked in. Watch how he darts his gaze like he's sizing up every moment. When a huge opening finally shows up, the MC slams his cracker bomb skill, then blasts it through the air with an air bullet, and hurls it straight at the opponent, catching him completely off guard and snagging the kid the moment they got lost in the spells. The MC tiptoes in, fires off a spell, and sends the target straight into deep, helpless sleep. And this hooded stranger strolls in, beaming as he congratulates our hero. Then the guy stepped up and introduced himself. Fred's like, "No, please don't call me that." But the boys just laugh and go, "All right then, Alfred Breidevelt, the magical engineer from the BFO game, yeah." The same guy who insists on calling himself. Turns out Alfred isn't just some random guy, he's royal blood, the fourth Prince Albert. The MC hears this guy is super close with his childhood friend Olivia. She's the one he plans to marry someday, and yet his political muscle in the palace is basically paper thin. So he heads straight to the Adventurers Guild, all cozy and ready, because he knows exactly what's coming. Our hero clocks him as a possible ally and turns on the charm smiling first, greeting him like they'd been friends forever. Meanwhile, Tarkot jolts awake and immediately realizes he just lost the duel, and to everyone's shock, he shrugs it off and stays locked in on their deal. And that fierce puppy crew had a good heart. But they grew up in a toxic scene, using it as a weapon and taking advantage. With his heart laid bare, our hero gives the kid real wisdom about studies and subjects that actually matter, not the useless stuff he thought they were. Deep in a shadowy corner, far beyond the reach of light, a mysterious woman snarls about the manticore they sent to wipe the evidence, then rages because it got beat. The snakebite crew got snagged alive, and now they're locked up and just hanging out in the guild. At least they didn't know enough about her to blurt out the truth. But when he adds up all these probes, The woman grumbles that humans are nothing but non-stop trouble. Still, compared to brooding with that scum, this feels way better. She vowed to prove them wrong, and she would make it happen. Show them what she's made of, and make them finally see her for real. After the magic showdown with the MC, Tarkot got hauled straight to the principal, while the hero was shoved into a room and left there, locked in place until someone said otherwise. Theodore's fretting about whether Ashley can keep up with them. But the girls are into it. Nah, they've got free time on their hands, so they jump right back into her treatment. With the Baroness's hand in his grip, the young dude leans in and asks how the young lady's doing, because the whole moment feels warm. Like she just cannonballed straight into a steamy hot tub. Grace just kicks back, stitching away like embroidery is her whole vibe. While everyone's busy somewhere else, Tarkot's stuck in another room, scrambling to clean up his own mess. The Baroness demands the deets about their Labyrinth run, but because they only scraped level 12, it plays out like a yawn fest instead of an epic saga. Honestly, they haven't even run into a single Guardian yet. But then, those massive boss monsters showed up. Players are probably down there, lurking under level 20 like they've been hiding in the shadows. Professor Rosetta suddenly bursts into the conversation out of nowhere. Convo comes in hot, spilling the latest on what's going down with Tarko. First off, it's his own mess, but yeah, he's about to lose his only chance to inherit the Duke of Cardiff's title. Getting the boot from the fam like they just kicked him out for good. But he's still stuck at the academy with a brutal "don't mess up again or you're out" warning hangs in the air, and it's pressing down on his shoulders still. There's a silver lining. When he snaps ties with Duke Cardiff, he finally gets to think for himself, and those wild magic skills of his are unreal. The director and a mysterious VIP, with a protective eye for him, are stepping in to defend him, because this VIP is officially his new guardian. Theodore can't shake it. He's sure this mystery person is Prince Albert. Albert starts plotting to help the kid the second he realizes he's about to get cut out of the inheritance. Tarkot is insanely grateful to Theodore because that hero basically pulled him back from the edge, even if it wasn't what they planned. Ashley's got to juggle some serious stuff right now, and she's got to sort it all out fast. Once that illness hits, it's basically a magic overload that smashes her limits. And the only way forward is to hammer her body into surviving it. So yeah, he's just going to keep doing what he's doing. No breaks. It's working wonders, seriously. It's blowing my mind. The professor tried to master the treatment herself, face planted, and then rage swerved because she watched the protagonist nail it. Rosetta tells the trio to hang tight, because she's got a meeting coming up and she's not exactly excited about it. Then right on cue, a screw went flying. A blood-curdling scream rips through the cold, and someone's yelling that their kid is to blame, sending the whole place into chaos. A fancy-dressed dude oozing royal vibes rolls in like he owns the whole place. Theodore's eyes lock onto him as he demands, "Did you tell me, are you the one who stopped Tarkot?" The professor rockets in to defend her student, but Cardiff's only there to shout out a huge thank you. The protagonist strides forward and asks the Duke straight up if they've got something to talk about. The man slams his name on the moment and tells everyone, "I'm Maurice Torham Cardiff, the top dog of the Cardiff house, and yeah, the one calling the shots takes center stage." And he gets mad props for pulling off Tarkot with not a single scratch. Then, with a voice that tore through a voice that could freeze lava cuts through the air. Then he fires one question: which of Duke Gartner's kids is the protagonist? With his head bowed, the protagonist finally confesses he's not the real deal. He's the illegitimate one. Then Theodore realizes this guy has been in the loop about his whole backstory the entire time, just trying to make him feel small. Then the Duke finally snaps, trash-talking the young man's mum, claiming she wasn't noble at all. Grace and the others snap, then start yelling at the guy like they've completely lost it. 8 years ago hits him all at once because of him. She was saved. He kept going, while people in his homeland keeled over one after another. Our protagonist hears that and instantly goes, "Wait, am I really about to trash my own mum like that?" Rage boils. The boy starts pumping up his magic, fully ready to hurl it and throw down. But then Ashley's scream tears through the air, demanding to know what that guy really knows about the boy's mum, besides tossing around pure nonsense. It was Lisa who swung the whole thing, turning a deadly offense into a reason so many people lived. She fought through it all, then tore into the world to avenge the Baroness's parents, so he'd better shut up and swallow that shame. Now it finally clicks for Theo, Everything suddenly makes sense. Grace instantly clicked with Lisa's vibe because the girl knew her. That Baroness acts like she's the whole deal. So no, you're not about to talk trash about the hero of my house. Then the guys jump in like, hold up, are you with the Duke of Shern's crew? When she nods, the guy sprints off, rambling apologies like he's relieved nobody got hurt, even though he basically shoved an insult at another house right in front of the boss's face. Yeah, and this is definitely not the moment to bleed away even more Duke points. And our main guy fully understands why this dude's trouble is serious. No room for mistakes now, because that kid is absolutely going to force him to eat his words. Ashley's breaking down, tears streaming as she begs forgiveness for all the drama she caused. Grace swoops in and wraps her arms around her, instantly soothing her. Theo clocks that she's injured, then it hits the vampire was the one who did it. His hand snapped toward the ring and tried to rip it off in a full-blown rage. Now that the adrenaline's burned out, everyone's finally steady and yeah, they even pull off a smile. Our heroes got stuck in their heads, wondering why his mum was so adored by strangers who weren't even family. At last, he finally turns to the Baroness and throws his thanks at her with all his heart. Justice for her words. With a handkerchief, he wipes those tears from the young lady's face. Convinced he'll never have to put her through this again, he dragged them into trouble because of that card. What a total jerk. Rosetta just drops a bombshell. She warns that Morris might start seeing Ashley as the enemy. The young lady gasped, completely stunned, and somehow the Duke figured she was mad just because she's got the hero wrapped around her finger. So yeah, someone on his own team might try to sabotage her. Since he's a Duke with top-tier connections, even his closest friends might try to take a swing at the heroes. Ashley feels the chaos crashing down on her, but the hero just shrugs like, nah. Now you did the right thing. Her move froze the rest of them in their tracks, so nobody would snap and go full rage mode on that jerk. So of course, they had to team up right. So you grab the best plan and figure out exactly how to keep her safe. And the hero just prays she's safe, and that she's actually willing to step in and help. Then he dives into a frenzy of brainstorming, sketching protection plans like his life depends on it. Maybe we should make our move on the fourth prince, but his pull's kinda weak. For now, the adventurers realized hanging around a place packed with traffic is a deal-breaker, so they're hunting for a better spot, ASAP. The girl doubts if going back to Shern's is cool anymore, but Rosetta steps in like, nope, I've got a different plan. When it comes to ideas, she'd rather ditch the old one and hunt down a fresh hideout. So yeah, they've got to lock down that spot and hold the line. But the teachers had another bombshell plan ready. Man, if he cleans up this mess, it'll probably kick off even more drama. And that might just snare Duke Morris's attention too, right in front of everyone. Not only is he the Shara N boss, he's also a top healer, yet somehow she's still single. So yeah, once they realize that, they'll pull every trick in the book to win her over if she truly wants to fix this. Because she needs to find the right partner. So with this massive problem looming over everything, you've got to think it through. Trio Theodore's freaking out, jittery out of his mind, thinking that if Ashley stayed at Rosetta's, he could just post up and guard the place, but they still have to crack the whole marriage proposal puzzle. The Baroness hesitates, wondering if she's pushing it too far, but the teacher's like, relax, she's basically the Duke's top house manager. Just wait, marriage offers are about to flood in any day now, and it's the same story for Theo. His dad, Henry, is probably already scheming to match him with Grace someday. But with his magic skills, she's daring the truth. His dad is probably sure he'll never settle for just one partner. No doubt the big players are already plotting, and Duke Morris is definitely cooking something up too. Targeting Theo and Ashley. Then Morris, running on nothing but assumptions, will drag everyone around him into believing the exact same thing. Truth can go to hell. Rosetta locks in her plan and thinks, this is the move. Before the moment cuts off with a stinger crowd. Crashing at her place for the day, he finally slows down and talks it out with her straight from the heart, with a sly wink that the teacher urges the girl to spill her heart and finally let her feelings out, even if the future stays a total mystery. Then the girl leans in and offers to grab some tea, and then bam, an awkward silence crashes into the room. Ashley smashes it. When she told her butler she wanted to study in Tirmui, he shot back, asking if she'd marry Theodore. Our main guy's like, yeah, this is a totally blind plan. Then grins and says, just vibe with me like real friends, and we'll figure it out as we go. But he knows the second they tie the knot, it's going to explode into a full-on drama fest, especially if Ashley's anything like his mum. Yeah, it's going to be one rough road. Hold up, flashback to Lisa. 8 winners back, she battled a demon and refused to back down. Got cursed, and every second after that felt like a nightmare. Every single person spun away and left her standing there alone. Even though she was the hero, nobody gave her the credit she deserved. And our boy can't shake that snowy night from his head. You know, a simple thanks would have been more than enough, right? That's why he gives Ashley mad respect, because she's truly awesome. He's dead set on securing her future, like, hey, if you want to bail on this deal later, go for it, I get it. But he's clinging to one dream: he wants to stay in her life forever. Ashley's cheeks burn as she confesses, I lost my parents. And her butler was a full-on buzzkill, shutting down every chance she got to play outside while she was always sick, trapped in bed, grieving her lost bro, and still forced to step up and lead the shern. Then she finally heard the name everyone was whispering, Lisa, Theo's mum, who tore through the world to avenge her parents. It felt like a fairy tale, and suddenly she was desperate to love him. Level up, because the second she realized Theo was Lisa's, everything changed, says the kid, and she snaps, I'm out, no questions, I'm leaving. Theo swallowed his pride and forgave the Oslo drama, healed her, and the relief hit so hard, she felt like she was living inside a real-life fairy tale, feeling weightless and completely alive. She couldn't stand to let him go, so she begged him and Grace to stay and hang out longer. So just like today, she's desperately trying to figure out what her noble role is supposed to be. About the marriage, she's slamming the brakes on it for now. But then I thought Thea would actually open up and talk about it. She can't even wrap her head around it. She can't believe she gets to be part of his life. But then Grace storms in, grabbing her hand. Grace is everything. If anyone's cool for... Yeah, it's Ashley, and she's got a message for Lisa if she can. With a grin, the main dude goes, I've said what I came to say, and nothing's ever going to change that, making Ashley absolutely ecstatic. Later, Rosetta bursts in and plunks down tea like she's setting the whole mood on fire. And the main dude knows right now is the perfect moment to spill everything, because once the teacher catches wind, they're gonna demand a front row seat in the chaos too. In the middle of a calm, quiet moment, they're taking greedy sips of coffee like it's fueling their next move. Theo takes a bite of the dish, and Grace and Ashley are absolutely, completely on board, and he's straight up yelling, this is fire. They're all straight up vibing together. A jet black blob oozes from the window and lands right in her line of sight. It's the caduceus, so the moment it's back, everything springs into action. That cat is the main dude's familiar and alchemist, cooked it up long ago to serve him. It's usually just all sloshy liquid, but then it can snap into a cat or a bird, and now it's on house patrol, guarding Ashley's safety. He straight up demanded the patrol details, and the cat suddenly morphs into a full-blown house, something as Seuss. A half-human with cat ears slinking around like they've got something to hide. If they're riding with the Duke's crew, they better watch their backs, because one wrong move could cost them everything. The hero recites the old words just to lock in the outfit in his mind, and that face total mystery. No one can figure out what it's hiding. Then the main guy leans in and orders his assistant to stay on lookout, on the prowl for anyone like that cat-eared girl. She's probably setting up a sneak attack. So he's braced to strike first, and right then, he grills Ashley about what she's planning. And she's getting drilled by Professor Rosetta, stacking extra classes and learning magic defense like her life depends on it. He realizes the teachers aren't just prepping her to heal, they're gearing her up for something bigger. Realizing how heavy her noble duties are, she starts gearing up for whatever storms are coming next. Now he fires up his crew and tells them he's rolling out clutching the caduceus. He pries Grace's seal loose, then orders her to stay safe because he won't be gone for long. All the kids got busy, like, hey, I'm gonna take a quick stroll and grab everything I need. With a sly grin, the MCs are plotting something huge, and they've got mischief in every step. After he tore through a few shops, and after swapping into a brand new fit, the guy decides to throw on a cape instead of sticking with a tunic. He couldn't find the cane, but honestly, that thing would have just dragged him down anyway, so it's fine. And as he heads back, he starts hearing those heavy footsteps pounding right behind him. A caduceus is creeping in the shadows, waiting to strike. Suddenly, it hits him, the seaman is right there. The semi-human is tailing him, closing in step by step. But plot twist, our heroes suddenly, actually right up on the roof. From the roof, he watched that shady girl tail his double like a hunter on the move. Now it's his time, he's going after them. The Theodore clone kicks into a full sprint, so the girl shoots after him, like she can't let him get away. He steps in, taps his shoulder and blurts out, "Chill, you've got nothing to panic about." The moment her hand brushes him, the stuff in his cape disappears like it was never there. Boom! She explodes into the scene with a surprise ambush, and he snaps, "I knew you'd come after me. I just didn't think it would be this soon." Then he presses her and asks if she's rolling with Duke Cardiff's crew. Yeah, I get it, but she flat out denies it. He throws himself at her over and over, trying to land a hit again and again. But she snaps that she's got business dealings with Cardiff's crew, and she's not trying to hurt a single one of them. With her hood finally down, she bares her face and pleads with the hero, "Hear me out, please." He decides to roll the dice on her because she's not a spy. Sierra steps out and introduces herself as the semi-human. She's on a relentless hunt for her missing friend, and she just heard the MC wiped out the Cobra Bite gang. And because these kids are going at it with Duke Cardiff, still, she couldn't shake the fear once she got near him. The Duke's goons would come hunting her down. Here, the hero's mind kicks into overdrive, and he can't help but start thinking. And then the catgirls dropping hints that scream, there's a connection between Duke Cardiff, one bite from the Cobra, and everything changes. And she blurts out that her missing friend was chatting with the Cobra Bite crew, and a guy from Cardiff's crew showed up too. She's convinced Duke Cardiff paid off that gang and sent them to snatch her friend. She even tried tracking down the guild, but they're keeping all the Cobra Bite business under wraps, and she refuses to be the one who gets blamed. Sierra blurts that she's in the Bandits Guild and tells the kid because bandits have to stay secret, she's risking everything just to say it out loud. Theo leans in and demands answers about the missing friend, and she drops her name Lamaya, revealing she's part human, part something else. He's not allowed to spill a single drop of Adventurers Guild tea, but he can hunt down her friend by checking out every sketchy corner he can find. They hit the streets hard, ripping through every corner of the city, and she drags him to this building that's getting in is a nightmare. Those guards are everywhere. The MC can't stop thinking if he studies the guard's style, will it clue him in on Cardiff's crew? Then he remembers to stay inside, but after all that drama, Cardiff's folks have stayed away, probably keeping their heads down and their visits quiet, so nothing else blows up. Glancing around, the hero clocks the whole place as wildly suspicious. Then he used Caduceus. Can you see what we're about to sneak inside and snoop around? And this kid taps into his shared vision power to scout everything. If Sierra's right, and they snatch innocent people kidnapped, gone without a trace. Caduceus is about to go berserk and haul them out. No more chasing proof. They're charging in to save the hostages first. First, the guild would never ignore something like this, so Theo leans in and grills for every detail about his missing friend. And the missing girls all rocked long purple hair, braided down in a single flowing braid. As she talks about her friend, the familiar slips through every corner, checking them like it knows exactly what to find. Sierra chimes in that the girl lives for singing, and concerts then. Right there, thanks to the shared vision, Theodore locks onto a woman who matches the description perfectly, and the familiar feeling hit again. As black balls, a problem erupted then, everything spiraled into total, no-holds-barred chaos. The semi-human's eyes snap to it. Guards are slipping past outside. Heroes are the ones who blink last. Maybe the prisoners are already stirring up chaos inside, so they can slip into the building unseen while everyone's distracted. He grips his cane for a brief second, and he starts charging up pure electric energy, sparking through his feet. With a leap that blasts off like a rocket launch, he forces the whole crew up to the very top of the wall, and now they're in. Feeling underestimated, Sierra swings the cane and smacks him hard, and she basically shrugs, saying she could have climbed that wall on her own if she really wanted. So many people get wrecked because of the chaos Caduceus and the MC unleash with that explosion. But he's locked in on one mission, breaking the prisoners free. That super-powered kitten sidekick just tears through the bad guys like a tiny apocalypse, until they burst into a hallway. Near the very end of this hallway, and with a wild leap, she rockets into the girl's arms, clinging tight like she'd been waiting to collide there. Sierra and the main dude slipped into the building and ripped hostages out of danger. While the guild stays out of it, the boy hands everything over to the human part and secretly prays they won't mind him going without a call. Then the hero stumbled on a magic circle, glowing like it had a secret to spill. Circle like the one the Cobra's bite leaves behind. There's a chance their work carries sneaky clues that tie it straight back to Kadif. If this hits, Morris won't have a second to bother Ashley and the boy. But trust me, a ton of mysteries are still waiting to blow up his life. Just then, the guild bursts in. Sierra's friends are already gone, and someone's been snatching them for sure. No warning at all. Official investigations slam into motion, and every one of those clues pointing straight at the Cardiffs gets picked apart. Right there as the guild moves in to investigate. Meanwhile, deep inside the Duke of Cardiff's palace, one breath is so loud it could jolt the dead right back to life. Morris is seething over everything, and his son's drama is the match that finally sets him off. The feud with the Gartner family. And now boom, he's unleashed a brutal attack on the slave market. That old dude's posted up with a young woman, then leans in and asks her what she thinks about Theodore getting tangled in all this. Lynette cared. A witch steps in and tries to hug him just to calm that old dude down. But the man just can't slow down, seeing a mountain of proof still sitting there at the slave market. It was her plan from the start. The market would get checked by the guild, and she pushed it all the way through. The woman snaps that she only came up with it to stop their funds from bleeding out. But Morris's rage spikes, then he storms off in a huff. As she watches him slip away with that sneaky grin, she just knows there's a plan cooking. The hostage captives were getting packaged up for an illegal sale, and those experiments would absolutely supercharge the witch's progress. But first, everything has to be set up just right, chasing something way bigger than a quick win. To smash through the maze and reach the Moonlight Temple on the very lowest floor of the border city, because this whole situation with her and the Cardiff can't keep dragging on. Not like this, not anymore. She's walking straight into danger the moment she makes this call. Morris's desperate screams tore through the air, echoing for ages. He's about to get nailed for murder and kidnapping straight up caught, so the witch bolts right away, before everything spirals out of her control. But she'll be forced to drop her research, and Duke Morris sure as hell isn't going to be taken down without a fight. He hurls a water magic icicle lance straight at the guards. The Duke's jaunt and hit the scene like a tornado, snatches the crowd's attention and baits the guards right in. Cards call for backup. The command is sounded. Commander and Sissy threw in the towel without putting up a single fight. Then the old man starts groveling, pointing at the woman like it's all her fault from the balcony. With his lungs fully unleashed, the Duke screams that Lynette did it all, getting unfairly blamed for everything. And the witch clamps her fist on the balcony railing. A creepy noise suddenly blares to life. Suddenly, the ground starts shaking like it's getting ripped apart. Then, from the dark depths, an undead hydra erupts from the shadows, fully awakened by Lynette. He threw caution to the wind with wild, crazy, bold confidence. Morris can't believe his luck. An escape route just opened up, and just like that, he's got the chance to bail. But when he stared at the woman a little closer, and right then, the Duke clocks it. Her eyes are bloodshot, her skin's turned purple, and that vile miasma is oozing out of her like a demon crawling out of the dark. The witch basically says, "I need a breather," because she totally loved feeding off that old man's nasty vibes. But yeah, that ride's done now. With one breath from her lips, she unleashes a zap that surges through the man's body. The woman spits out a savage curse at the Duke, stunned that someone as useless as him could have turned on her. But as Lynette inspects her dead prey, the mage knights raise their wands and unleash spells on her, shouting monster as they do. The witch whips aside the strike like it missed by a hair. He launches the attacks and demands to know if she's really telling the truth. And honestly, this monster is absolutely unreal. Her hydra squares up against the guards, ready to strike. As the echo of human agony claws at her, Lynette still buzzes with wild excitement. The soldiers are sprinting for their lives, and right on the spot, they rush to the authorities to report exactly what they saw. Now the woman doesn't have to lower herself anymore. She lowered herself like a tiny, puny human. She decides to vanish into the maze, hunt down secret routes, and reach the lower floor. The villain is so hyped, he can't stop craving the rush of feeling the priests and priestesses are drowning in despair and pain, and it's about to taste delicious. But before we jump to the next part, the woman plants her foot on that spot, and her hydra gets blasted again and again, zapped by raw energy. To dodge that too, Lynette rockets away out of the path. When she touches down again, a witch locks eyes on a boy like she's just spotted her next mistake. He's snapping a magic circle into existence. Inside that circle, the hydra starts to writhe in pure, crushing agony. It's straight-up 8th-class black magic, the kind that makes the air feel dangerous. Theodore summoned the demon's eater into the magic realm, and the whole world felt it. You can spot a whole swarm of tiny demons gnawing through everything in sight. Despite dodging the boy's magic, The witch is absolutely fuming. She blasts him with a killer death glare, and our hero realizes he's not facing some nobody. This one's the real deal. A true baddie. The savage munching finally dies down as the Hydra melts away into pure magic. The hero grinned like he loved every second of the chaos. It just stokes her rage even more. The boy ends up hurting himself because of it right after he uses it, unleashing that kind of jaw-dropping magic with nothing but his bare hands. Cackling, the witch taunts him. She says he might be all. He's grinning like his magic can't be touched, but a demon is about to prove him dead wrong. Theodore already knows he's outmatched. She can zip through the air like it's nothing. So he plants a hand on his hip and snaps that he doesn't need a demon lesson, daring her to prove him wrong. She doesn't charge at all. She starts flinging tiny spells at him, one blast at a time. He swung his staff and drove them away, and shot them straight back into her hands. But the second they finally reach her, they fizzle into nothing, and she doesn't even flinch. Now she's gathering power for another spell, laughing as she dares him to keep crawling around like a bug. He jukes out of danger and snaps a flight spell into the air, while dodging like a total pro. Now she's unsure he can even dodge a meme. He slashed through the miasma and launched it flying, hurling dark magic straight at him. He dodges again and snaps out of the way just in time, cutting her attack off like it never even started. He's super stressed about just how insanely fast he is. Now our hero drops a magic circle right under his feet. His feet kicked out, still airborne, as if the whole moment refused to land. He bursts into a double jump and lands it clean. Trump exploded forward, launching himself at the villain mid-air. A regular human was juggling 3 spells at once, closing in so fast he could finally tag Lynette with the tip of his staff. Using levitation, he lifted himself and floated a magic shield turned into a springboard, launching him forward. And he fired an air blast to rocket ahead at full speed. And just like that, he pulls off a legendary BFO-level power play that leaves everyone stunned. And just by the look burning in the demon's eyes, you know this has never happened before. No one's ever faced it like this. Even Theodore is buzzing because he can finally stare a demon down face to face. But it's still not enough. He's hungry for power. More speed, more skills, anything that'll make him unstoppable, with his heart slamming against his ribs, grabbing these powers like they're the only thing that can save him. The fight flips on its head, and the victors come out standing. Lynette hits the ground hard. With a massive boom, her body took the full hit and ate every bit of the damage. So yeah, to wrap it all up, our hero tears open a 7th right when everything's about to go off the rails. 7th class wind magic. The Vortex Lancer, where the air itself feels like it's about to rip open. After that epic battle, the demoness crumples to the ground, and the hero barrels forward, using her last breath to make it count. And just like that, she spits the word monster straight at him. With a pout, the boy blinks and snaps that he doesn't want to hear that kind of thing from her. He doesn't waste a second. He demands she hand over her gold before she slips away and disappears for good. The witch leans in and says it was the Moonlight Temple, and that someone like him should already know exactly what it means. And just like that, she leans in and demands to know his name. She introduces herself and tells him with fire in her voice to be proud because he's a demon slayer. Then she disappears like dust in the wind, and our hero just stands there, staring into the night, replaying everything she said about the Moonlight Temple. It's a totally uncharted zone down on the lower end. Nobody's ever mapped it. Down on the floor of Turmoil's Labyrinth in BFO, whispers flee in the game, people swear a demon shattered the seal and snatched the treasure. He's still missing a few key details, and it's driving me crazy. The guild is gonna grill him for that demoness, guarantee, so he starts thinking, maybe I'll torch the Moonlight Temple to get their attention. Right then, his guild rolls in with his crew pals backing him up while Grace is freaking out, whispering that she just heard a demoness showed up. So Ashley fires off, "Did you take me down solo?" Then a strange vibe hits him, and he snaps around just as Sierra drops into his lap like a bolt from the blue, sending the other girls into pure curiosity. That cat girl showed up because she heard Theodore was fighting a demon, and when she learns he crushed it alone, pure amazement hits her. That sweet, innocent girl sprawled in the hero's lap turns the whole moment into an instant, neck-hot disaster of awkwardness. He slips away, letting her go, and then launches into the story of how he first met that semi-human girl who isn't with Cardiff's crew. Ashley couldn't shake the feeling that the MCE bringing them together like the universe had it all planned. And he jumps in, asking if the three of them can be friends. Belaine beams at the adventurers, flashing a warm smile and shouting, "Good morning." The hero leans in and says, "Yeah, I'm here just like we agreed for that meeting we talked about." She urges him to follow, then just like that she spots someone brand new. She scans the girl there, hunting for the one who helped Theodore bring down the kidnapper Sheila. That semi-human girl isn't officially in the squad, but she's already been right in the middle of everything. So she's barreling into the meeting too, crashing it right along with everyone else. Forget party sign-ups. For now, the adventurers rushed straight into the meeting and locked in on what mattered first. Earlier, Belaine blurted it all those rumors about the girl the court dragged in are true, because she's hurt. But he's determined to thank them in person, face to face. Grilling her right here is the clutch move, because Demoness Lynette's plotting deep inside the maze, and the monsters aren't even on the same vibe. They hunt adventurers non-stop, even the chill ones outside, like they're hell-bent on stopping every step forward. Yeah, Sheila spilled that her pal, Irma Hilt, might have the juicy inside info on that labyrinth, and she might even know what monsters are waiting in the dark. The receptionist ushers the adventurers straight to Irma Hilt's spa where she's relaxing and waiting, and they stroll right past her until they catch sight of a girl who looks just a little younger. The main guy strides forward, flashes that smooth confidence, and introduces himself like it's nothing. And the young girl with the injured one is freaking out with excitement, desperate to see him. And just like that, him and the monster in the bed both confirm it. The guy who saved them earlier isn't some random stranger. It's Megapolite. The long-haired girl claims she got the guild to set up this meal so she could thank them face to face. Deep in his bones, the MC feels the truth creeping closer, like he already knows it's real. The trio's pulling transformation tricks to pass as human, but the harpy's feathers keep slipping out at her neck, like the disguise can't hold. And the mermaid's ears are fin-shaped, so at first glance, it's the Lamia Ermohilt that looks totally human. Delamere bursts into an adorable grin and thanks them again. Yet something still hangs in the air, But Theodore tells her, "Go thank your friend Sheila," because it was that tiny cat who scrambled, hustled, and dug the truth up. Then he just kept up the info non-stop, like he wouldn't let the story breathe. Then the kid snaps. He completely forgot to introduce his crew, and everyone there treats it like the friendliest little gem, acting all warm and welcoming. The girls are bouncing back hard, even after getting stuck in that boring hospital bed nightmare. God, Sheila clocked it. Her friend looked totally healthy, and the Lama broke it down back when they got nabbed. Nobody could lay a hand on them because they were the goods, and the tiny cat struts right in through the front door like she owns the place. Even though she's tied to the Bandits Guild, Theo's help made it happen. Because it had been forever since the two buddies had even caught up, the young hero decided to stash all the questions for later so they could finally kick back and relax. A little later, he bursts back into the room and demands he can fire off a few questions. Right before they crash landed here, where were the two standing? But the mermaid and the harpies gasped that magic had snatched them up. Then poof, he got dragged straight into the cells, because this is a forced summoning that came from outside the city. Only Lynette's demon powers could pull off a move that sneaky. The city's stacked layer after layer of barriers to stop wild monsters from crossing in or even getting summoned. Yet somehow these girls and the demons still slipped through the cracks, wrecking the temple and the royal castle's sanity. And that's why they're untouchable key witnesses, locked down tight, because nobody's about to mess with them. Irma Hilt is totally different. She grew up in the city, but she was born inside the labyrinth. Theo's finally up to take the shot and pry this mystery open wide. The protagonist knows the labyrinth isn't exactly overflowing with intel. People whisper that it's tied to other worlds. Then the Lamia leans in and starts spilling everything she knows. She said she kind of remembers living in some little village, but the whole thing still feels like it happened in a dream. Themes here, hey, everyone there, right in the middle of it with her included. They lived by a strict routine, locked into a life that felt fully programmed. To the MC, this feels like straight-up NPC behavior, straight out of a video game. So he leans in and demands, "Why did you ditch me right there, huh?" Irma Hilt can't quite remember how she even got away. She had been kept in, but one day she slipped out. She was outside. And suddenly, everything burst to life with color for the very first time. But the labyrinth suddenly turned on her, and she realized the monsters were already roaming through the maze. Those villagers had no clue how wildly different they were, because every person in the village brings their own energy to the table. While the wild monsters all move with a totally different, it's all about death and survival, but there's zero personality anywhere. Still scratching his head over this whole story, the hero straight up asks the Lamia if she has parents. She nods and tells him straight up, there's a rule in this village, nobody's allowed to leave. Theos never once ran into a friendly monster in that labyrinth. And yeah, it twists their mind, but deep down, they still cling to a shred of their own will. All he can think is that this law was built to trap and protect them. But from who and why? Then the boy blurts out, do you have any idea who wrote it? And the moment hangs there, waiting for her answer. But the girl shrugs and admits she never really gave it much thought. Then the Lamia finally flashes a sweet, chill smile at the MC and drops the bomb. All of this is downright mysterious. All right, listen up. This is the whole deal. Our dude is convinced hunting villagers on the upper floors of the labyrinth is a total disaster. Like, hard no. And somehow nobody's ever caught them up there, so it's clear they don't want visitors. And they definitely won't let anyone wander in. Irmahilt just shrugs. Well, looks like villager hunting is off the table for now. And Theo's like, yeah, I'm not sure the guild's gonna be any help. But he's still itching to know, because if there's tea to spill, he's getting it out of the Lamia. These two best buds who haven't laid eyes on each other in forever slam into a tight hug, straight up sealing the moment with a vow to team up. Our main crew is fully fired up and ready to go. He leaned in, fists tight, ready to tear into the secrets of the monsters lurking in the labyrinth. And he's dead certain this is the only key to figuring out why they're there in the first place. Our dudes were just apologizing up a storm for firing off all those questions to Shirley and Irmahilt. That cat girl just signed on as an adventurer and latched onto the hero squad, shaky as ever, then blurted, so is it cool if we've got a bandit guild member in our crew? But our guys are totally cool with it. He swears that guild is packed with wild adventures, so there's no need to grill her with magic. The Adventurers Guild calls her a hero after she wrecks a slave market. So she finally gets to breathe, though the MCs are already cheering like she might be jumping the gun. But tomorrow's a big day. Demi-Human our squad wants to dive into the labyrinth, and it's Ashley's first time, so please, any help you can give is clutch. The Baroness strides in, all sharp smiles and perfect manners, and demands the cat girl's backup. With a huge grin on her face, Shirley practically sparkles with excitement. She's ready to jump in and roll with the hero crew, in some shady, sketchy corner where trouble feels one step away. Bort Shirley's heads up, 3 baddies are on the roof. Ashley spots 2 in the water. That makes 5, and then she screams at Grace, I've got the bats, while the maids huddle up, ready to stomp the frogs. Slimy frogs pounce and leap at her like they mean business. And she's primed for the showdown. Half-vampire fury surges as she whips that massive axe and drops her foes in a single brutal swing. The Baroness slams down a magic circle and starts cooking the bats alive. As those flying baddies buzzed around, looming overhead, Ashley's yelling for Theodore like she can't afford even one more second. Now the hero squad's hunts have spilled out a mountain of monster loot. Beline looked around in awe at the guild. Even though it was their first time, the 2 of them tore through that monster room and cleared it. Ashley slams a gauntlet into her arsenal from the boys' stash, and now she's packing way more muscle for every swing of her mace. The guild's about to inspect every scrap of loot. And while that's happening, this random guy is ready to corner the MC and demand a word. He's been waiting for the moment he finally gets out of the labyrinth, and now that he's heard all about this mage, he's set his sights on Chester Glenville, who just got a special invite straight from the royal castle for the Demon Slayer. The king's showing up too, and you've got just 5 days until it all goes down. Theo's not exactly thrilled, but he sighs and goes, all right, guess I gotta go. And the guy bounces in. He looks like a straight-up knight, but why the MC got an invite? That part makes 0 sense. Word on the street is the mages and knights at the castle aren't exactly getting along. So something shady could be happening right under the surface. Once that demoness was finally taken down, he couldn't stop grinning, because he just knew the invites would start flooding in. So he showed up anyway, because he'd rather be there in person than let anyone whisper behind his back. And the mage is dying to see exactly how the intel from Lynette is being put to work. Theo grabs the momentum, turns back to the counter, and leads his crew right with him. Days rocket past like they're on fire, and the royal castle party of the century is finally here. lights blazing and trouble waiting to explode. Our heroes are strutting like legends, all dressed up in their flashy fancy threads. They're greeted with open arms by a butler who delivers a warm welcome that instantly sets the mood, and he hears the castle staff shout in alarm. The king storms onto the balcony, kicks off his speech, and declares the whole event was built to spark connections, but then Cardiff erupted with drama as that demoness finally crashed the party. Tons of families are mourning fallen soldiers, and the king's stuck wondering if that banquet is even a good idea. Still, after everyone pushed for it, because those soldiers' bravery deserves to be honored, the event is on. As long as there are brave soldiers, like the ones who've already marched past the king is dead certain our badass Beldgar will stand firm against those annoying demon attacks. So he orders everyone to feast and drink until they're warm, happy and glowing inside, because it's his way of honoring the noble souls who gave everything. Melvin raises his glass like the night is about to explode, and he bellows a battle cry to honor every last one of his fallen soldiers. Then he fires up the story about the young hero who took down the demoness all by himself. Knowing there's someone that fearless in the kingdom makes him light up. Then the king hears it too. Tonight at the party, he sends word, scans the crowd, and locks eyes on Theodore right there. Our main dude gets hit with the most brutal embarrassment ever. With everyone staring at him, he just wants to kick back, relax, and soak in the party. Out of nowhere, a squad of knights suddenly starts marching through the castle halls like they own the place. As he's locked in, our boy gets yanked out of the moment, interrupted. A girl leans in and asks, "Are you Theodore Gartner?" And he just nods, no hesitation. She couldn't shake the feeling something's off. Then she drops the bomb that someone wants to talk to him in another room, and she orders the mage to come along. When they finally arrive, Albert steps forward and declares, "I'm Albert IV Prince," and he's flaunting his sister Marlene while tagging along with her buddy Ophelia. Even though our hero already knows them, he doesn't waste a second. He proudly introduces his two fiancées. Then the prince drops the bomb that he's engaged to Ophelia, and Albert just goes, "Yeah, of course," because that hits like a duh moment. He'd pulled Albert aside to meet him, thanks to Talcott's glowing words, and he was determined to give him a proper thank you to break the ice. But the second the boy clocked the game, answering back gets messy fast. Albert's clearly trying to hide who he really is, and Theo's just trying to roll with it. Theo shrugs and says he didn't do anything that even deserves a thank you. But yeah, he gets it. Albert also wants to thank him for the demoness fiasco, because Talcott's dad got murdered, and somehow the kid was blamed for demon dealings. In the end, he finally cleared his name, but the castle chaos didn't slow down. Not one bit, because this young man is stuck dealing with the fallout from that demon attack and just learned something terrifying is sealed inside the Moonlight Temple, and the demoness is hunting it down. With a grin, the boy tells him to keep it on the DL, but then he leans in and teases that something even bigger is coming. A few knights are out for the protagonist's blood, and he's convinced the mage has to know about it. Honestly, something about that invite felt off the second it landed, and he immediately presses for more details about what's going down that night. Albert claims he overheard the knights plotting to band together and charge into the labyrinth just to prove themselves, since they did nothing against the demoness. But even if they tried, the dragon knights would still end up looking like a joke. Flying dragons are straight up useless once you're stuck in that labyrinth. The protagonist leans in and asks if they said anything about his flight magic inside the royal castle. The boys' flight magic smashed the Dragon Knight's skyward battle streak clean to the end. They're terrified of losing power and worried the protagonist will get scooped up by the royalty. So Albert hears it firsthand. Some people want him to spill every secret about his flight magic. But the king slammed the idea down and snapped that it's dumb to cross someone as powerful as the protagonist. With a cheeky wink, Theo says, "Yeah, I totally get it." And he leans in like, "So what's the catch with all this info?" The young man just grins and shrugs. Honestly, making friends is the whole point. But he's got someone in mind who desperately needs a mage. Theo's got his buddy Alfred on his mind. He's convinced Alfred could pull off some wild magic control, so the hype young guy leans in and asks if Theo's down to help. Theo says yes, but a sour sting hits him anyway, because he knows the tricksters are already whispering about him. Then our hero sprints back to his fiancée. He finally shows up to personally thank him for being there, because it's none other than Lord Chester. He just crushed the jousting tournament, so he marched over to greet the guest of honor. No drama, just a quick hello. The boy finally decides to go all in and tell Chester the full truth, 100 real, no masks, and he blurts out that he needs to talk about something important, just the two of us, in private. Then they storm down into the castle's underground, where the knights train and the whole place comes alive with steel and sweat. The protagonist blurts out that he's heard rumors. Those dragon knights feel straight up threatened by him. At first, the dude tries to deny it, like he can talk his way out of it. With just a nudge, he flashes a grin at the boy, and he finally cracks and admits he can't stand him. A cocky mage showing up to dare the skies themselves, and now the king and the knight captain are demanding he show up at the event anyway. Still calm, the hero leans in and asks why Chester's got beef with the mages. With a furious scowl, the dude snaps back, snarling, and he'd insist mages are all sneaky, lurking behind bushes, pulling dirty tricks, and demons should be wiped out for good. Then the knight himself boasts that a dragon knight could totally power through my asthma, daring the kid to prove him wrong. The mage snaps back with a spell, saying he'll make that young hotshot eat his words once his skills kick in. If a fake fight is all it takes to get him to buy in, then he's ready straight up for whatever challenge he's handed. The showdown is about to explode if Chester wins. The protagonist has to swear he'll never mess with the royal castle again. Theodore's got a deal right up until the moment he wins. The knights finally got told to stop sticking their nose in everything. He rammed his nose into his stuff. They square off and crash straight into battle. The knight trembles under the raw strength and crushing pressure, even with his opponent stuck in a kid's body. The moment he realized he'd misjudged him, hit like a punch. After he blocked a brutal incoming attack, he sank like a punch to the gut from the young hero. Chester S-Lime. No more holding back starting right now. We're going all in. The young fighter thrusts his staff toward Theodore and charges a lethal burst of energy at its tip. It's that meteor thrust technique, but the protagonist doesn't even flinch. Ramming the haze back with a sweeping counterattack, Chester launched the attack, got it slammed to a stop, and then bam, he faceplants right into a wall as the mage creeps up from behind, silent as a shadow. Theo's staff slams a brutal hit into the kid's ribs, and the impact lands hard. Ribs' pain detonates so hard he can barely breathe as his body starts giving out. He drops to his knees like the whole world just hit pause. Now they're at a brutal disadvantage. Our hero leans in and asks, "You ready to finally call it defeat?" And the knight slipped away without a single fight. It says yes, but only if a knight steps in. And he can't stand that kind of thinking. If the hero's strong on his own, he shouldn't have to lean on cheesy tricks just to take down demons. The boy declares he respects Chester's chivalry. He's not switching up his fighting style for anyone, even when demons show up, remembering that he'll never, ever forgive those cursed demons who ripped his mum away. Handing the knight his promise, believing it would keep its end, Theo tears out of the battlefield and races back to his squad. They crowd in, ask if he's okay, and demand to know how it all went. And the young dude blurts out that Chester promised to keep the knights off their backs. Then Ashley spots a girl rocking iron armor, who says His Majesty wants Theodore to get an audience, because he is already set to reward him for everything he's done, and his crew, every last one, got invited too, straight to the king's tower. The ring that's gripping Grace's powers, like it owns them. Better pray that seal holds together tight, while they're trapped inside that castle. The adventurers strut up to the door that leads straight into the royal audience hall, and right before he steps inside, the knight is. Titus shoots the protagonist a rapid, no-nonsense once-over. As the doors swing wide, a fancy room reveals itself, 2 giant thrones sitting right in the middle. Later, servants and guards closed in on every side, all waiting on the hero. The trio drops to their knees in front of the king, who says the son of Count Herney and St. Lisa can talk to him straight, so he can finally lift his head. Born as the saint's son and raised by pure magic genius vibes, the boys instantly looked like they belonged in Demon Slayer. The MC awkwardly locks eyes with the monarch, and the tension snaps tight in the air. Who else would be into a prodigy like him? It's wild, right? Having someone this promising on the team, but His Majesty isn't done yet. He wants to know what the kid's aiming for, telling the kid to spill the whole story and give up every secret. Theodore tells them, "I didn't come to this kingdom by accident, I came for the Labyrinth." And he's itching to tear into it until the truth finally cracks open. To train hard and keep diving back into adventure. King Melvin clamps a hand over his mouth because even after smashing a demon, that kid still insists on training in the Labyrinth. Trust me, this thing is rock solid. and now the king wants to cash him in with a reward for everything he's done. The girl in iron armor strides in, clutching a chest like it's the key to everything. Scrolled, dug deeper, and finally found it. Melvin learned the MC was hunting for a staff that matched his magic power, and somehow they already had it tucked away in their treasure stash. A legendary staff, carved with dragon designs, gets handed to the young dude called the Dragon Staff, or a Boros. An old-school adventurer dragged this staff straight out of the labyrinth and hauled it to the royal palace. This thing is a beast, forged with real care, and it just screams, "Go on, unleash your power." And now he can't wait to pump it full of mana and watch what kind of chaos it unleashes. But pulling that move here feels way too extra, and somehow, like the king's reading minds, he stays totally calm and tells him, "Go on, try it." Because he clearly thinks the guy's solid. The king probably clocked the hero's vibe just by his grin, pure smiles, no doubt about it, so he clutched his weapon with all his might. The boy starts pumping it full of mana, juicing it up like his life depends on it, and just like that boom, he realizes this is a full-blown game-changer. His magic keeps surging through him just like always. It's like the weapon kicks in a power-up, supercharging his magic and bulking up his muscles, because this thing is made for spirit circulation, like a perfect match for a battle mage who also swings in true martial arts style. The knights barged into the throne room and told the king the young troublemakers were on the loose. He's got insane staff art skills that make everyone go quiet. Then Theodore flashed a grin and said, "Thanks for the epic gift." The adventurers burst out of the royal court, adrenaline pumping as they spring from one explosive moment to the next. They clamped the crib gear and bolted straight to their ride. Sheila's up on the roof, gripping the silence, waiting to meet them head-on. She's been on edge, scanning the area non-stop, ready to catch whatever comes next, just in case. The moment those knights rolled in, they kept watching from the shadows, tracking everything while they were out. The hero sweeps in and invites her for tea, and with one last push, they all barrel into the house. The cat girl leans in, eyes blazing, dying to see what he does next. He just needs to move, because he's itching to smash right back into the labyrinth. He's chasing big goals on the 20th floor, but come on, he's buzzing out of his mind, ready to test that insane new staff. Behold the epic staff from King Merlin, glowing under the sunlight like it's alive. But the boy's eyes flared with intensity. Not even close. Everybody's brooding like the world's against them. And they were heading for the labyrinth until bam, they're suddenly soaking in a hot spring instead. And while he's sulking, the girls are straight up having the best time. Grace and Ashley are rocking super cool swimwear, and the rest are just vibing. Earlier, Irma Hilt pulled the adventurers in and welcomed them from her recovery bed, like it was a comeback stage. Said Sheila was buzzing with relief, seeing that she was doing great. And the hero and the cat girl had mapped out this visit the night before. The cat presses its head into Heather, meowing, "Can we finally let your friend go? Go on, because after that demoness mess, Heather's basically like, everybody's on edge now." But for the LAMEA, yeah, chilling's fine, because as long as everyone knows she's alive and okay. She's going on about the kids, like they're the whole story. The kids at the Chill orphanage in the Western District finally met there. Theo clocks it instantly. She's been there from the moment she surfaced. And that orphan, maybe she's connected, somehow. That orphanage crew has way more clues about her past, and you've got to check it out. Switching gears, the guild. Irma Hilt says she'll only go if she gets an escort, sure. It could wreck the labyrinth plans, but we have to do it anyway. The adventurers decide to tag along and back her up. Heather just shrugs, totally cool with it. Buckle up, because the next adventure is about to explode. They rush straight to the orphanage, catch them and sprint over right away. Super pumped and ready for anything. An old lady barges in to welcome them, and blurts out, "Mom." Later comes a huge feast, and the Yamata, and those kids are practically floating, gorging on all that delicious food like it's a dream come true. Grace hustles through serving, and the little ones beam with gratitude. She's stuck to adventuring, and with gigs lined up, it's getting her through because this is all she knows. Sheila shoots her friend a wave, basically dragging them to the feast. Theodore sits down and starts talking to the orphanage boss, and the whole room feels like it's on the edge. Who's been losing sleep over ever since she vanished without a trace? Then the hero digs into his Lamea's past. He leaned in and grilled them like, back then, did anything weird ever happen? The old lady admits she was genuinely shocked when people asked about the girl's origins. She looked a little lost, but she was still unbelievably sweet, polite, and kind. The boy starts spiraling into Irm's fuzzy, maze-like memories. The lady leans in and whispers for him to make sure Sheila in Irma-Hilt is taken care of. And he's basically saying, yeah, totally, just wait. Suddenly, Catgirl surged right into his face. Grace is almost sure she knows already, and she's asking him straight up, are you down for a beach trip? Because Grace and the crew are gearing up to hit the waves. Every girl's buzzing with excitement, begging for that beach trip because it's the perfect way to celebrate Herm's triumphant comeback. The girls were all in, saying they'd even bring the swimwear if he was up for it. So yeah, there was no way the MC could refuse that invite, right? Boom. Forget the Labyrinth plans, they ditched it all and went straight for the beach. He's stuck waiting until tomorrow to check out the Ouroboros, but, yo, imagine kicking back on the beach, sinking into that water like you own the whole shoreline. Labyrinth Prep just snatched a total win. Sheila hooks this massive fish and practically yells, dinner's on me. The lames soak up the vibes they love, like it's their whole world. Ashley hits the pool like a full-on pro, swimming circles around everyone. And Sheila's completely obsessed with the fishing life. Our MC is straight up riding wild waves with nothing under his feet, he flicks his water magic like it's nothing, and then a grin hits, wait, can I surf on land too? With a monster fish finally hauled in, and they're absolutely devouring everything, like it's the best day of their lives. Alright, I'm out, wait, where the heck is Theo? That kitten wasn't messing around. He went and chatted with it's the Lamea singing, and wow, her voice hits like pure magic. That mage hears this tune and instantly recognizes it, an old-school kids' song everyone knows. Probably picked it up back at the orphanage, learning it alongside the other kids. The hero shows up, drops a compliment, and she goes, seriously, first time hearing me sing, I used to tear it up at the guild. Speaking of the guild, they're trying to snatch her up for a job, but she's craving adventure still. That demoness drama keeps throwing a wrench in the whole thing, and because she's not strong enough to make it back alone, she begs to stay with the Mac for now. She snaps to the moment, realizes she's been rambling, and blurts out an apology. And blurts out, why do you even want to talk to me? The mage, dead serious, leans in and says he's got to cut straight to it. He raps out a confident command and asks Irma-Hilt to join their squad. Turns out Sheila got there first. Then the kitten started asking if once was free to leave the guild, they could finally invite her to smash the labyrinth too, because she knows her friend isn't tough enough to handle the deep levels. But they're so tight, like real sisters. Theo's like, if we had even more dependable backup on this team, that would be legendary. And he's on a mission to crack the labyrinth's secrets, plus he already promised the orphanage owner he'd keep her goddaughter safe. Herm shoots the MC a handshake to lock it in. Admits she's not totally sure how she'll help yet, but she's crazy excited to team up and hang with Theodore in this seriously creepy spot. At the Moonlight Temple, a chilling voice summons its demon crew. Then the news hits hard. They've lost track of Lynette, their undercover agent in Tamui. And though there's no proof yet, it's starting to look like even a monster of a fighter still got taken out by humans. Still, the plan isn't dead. Lynette's intel is fueling their next move, and now they're eyeing a new person to deliver the killing wills. The whole place looks demolished. Then this guy in full iron armor stomps right into the scene. All right, let's go. I'm Zevion, and the long-haired guy leans in like, you good with the mission? Since Zevion's a combat beast, picking up Lynette's work won't be, but the mysterious dudes already had a master plan, and the kingdom started taking those Moonlight Temples seriously, fast. And he tossed out a squad of knights. Now glory-chasing troublemakers are popping up left and right, and he's ready to turn it into his perfect weapon. He leans in and tells Evian, humans just crushed a demon, so don't you dare underestimate them. Then the mysterious guys grinned and said, no worries, I've got Zarbash covered. The long-haired guy flashes a wicked grin, like he's up to something, saying, that's awesome. All right, the gang's back. Let's jump into the next adventure. They're hunting down monsters. And finally, Theodore gets his hands on the Ouroboros. He struggles to nail the exact right magic amount, and as his mind spins, he starts thinking. An arrow whips past his head, so close it steals the air from him. It rips into the moment a tree monster creeps in for the kill. Courtesy of Irma-Hilt's arrow-firing bow, Lami heard Sheila bragging about the boy's skills, and then boom, his sheer strength left her stunned. Even so, the MCs couldn't help but stare. Those archers were shredding targets with unreal precision. But then something snaps his attention instantly. A knight kicks back with a few adventurers and starts talking like it's about to turn into a full-blown adventure. That, after the whole demoness meltdown, the knights live for one thing, diving into the labyrinth, yet then, oboe. Oh man, their rules and their freedom. It's oil and water. There's no mixing this. So yeah, absolute drama is going down. Two tough guys are squaring off, snarling over who gets to go first, and explore where then the fight gets even more intense. And those knights strutted around like they owned the place. Heather was like, "Man, look, chill out, dudes. You're really starting to make a scene." The adventure cranks up fast, and it doesn't even give them a second to breathe. Everything's about to go down. He leaned in with a hard stare and demanded to know who she was truly backing. Our main guy steps in and tells them to knock it off. Then the older dude fires back like, "Respect me, I'm older." And Theo shoots right back, "Then act your age, bro." That knight steps up and, face full of regret, apologizes, saying he's heard rumors about some nasty knight behavior. Jasper, the hot-headed adventurer, is itching for another round of fists. But his friends yank him back and blurt out, "Sorry for the chaos." Then surprise. Under the cover of night, it rips off the helmet and reveals a Mercedes Corvette. The boss lady of the knights steps in, promising she'll talk to her crew so this kind of chaos never hits again. Then later, the ad rolls in like a punch to the gut. The adventurers are kicking back in their quarters, taking a breather before whatever chaos hits next. His crew was settled in the quarters when a sudden knock slammed the main guy's door. It's Alfred, and he leans in, firing off a question does the main guy know. He knows the second his workshop's open, he'll need backup fast. The boys were like, "Yeah, got you, I hear you." You see it, and he's stunned like, "How is it ready this fast?" Sure, it's still getting a makeover, but the potion making is good to go. They bolt out, only to slam right into Grace and Ashley. In the carriage, the young guys screw it up. "Sorry, Theo, we just ruined your weekend plans." They've got time before they even reach the workshop. So there's plenty to talk about, because he drops that Prince Albert sent him with a message he needs to deliver. Did the boy spot the knights marching through the labyrinth? The knights are scouring every area for that sealed door. But if the main guys decide to start trouble, Alfred steps in immediately. Because these soldiers aren't just guessing, they've got a plan. And now the main dude wants in on that conversation too. That young guy just feels it. Something nasty is brewing between adventurers and knights. But then Theo calls out Ms. Mercedia. She swore she'd keep everything calm, but the heroes couldn't shake the gut feeling something was about to explode any second. The knights might be rushing like they're chasing the door, and Alfred's freaking out. If they're really doing that, they're probably gunning for Lord Chester's seat. Then Theo cuts in like, "Hold up, same Chester." The young guy's like, "Yeah, he's a big deal. And after getting crushed by you, he's back to training." Then boom, Lord Chester ditched the Flying Dragon, switched squads, and joined the Labyrinth Exploration Squad. Do the heroes feel that heavy guilt, wondering if they caused it, while the young guy just laughs it off? But here's the real bombshell. Chester's connections. Lord Chester was Princess Rosemary's favorite, and he even ranked right behind her as the second princess. Yeah, she's sitting on royal power and backed by the dirtiest, most powerful political connections around. Chester wants to stay close, so he goes all in to impress her. Then the princess starts praising his strength, only for Chester to ditch his spot. Some nights, they claw at the dark and try to outshine everything in that labyrinth just to catch her eye. One of them, Fernando from the Western District, moves like he's hiding something, like every second reeks of trouble. The main guy sank into deep thought, trying to crack what that mysterious dude wanted by winning the princess over. But after all that non-stop talk, they finally reach their stop. The boys leap out and burst into the Brightwell workshop. Up, Alfred leans in and dares the main guy to spill every single idea he's got for his magical gadgets. But all the protagonists can think about are those locked doors and that second princess. Yeah, looks like the labyrinth is about to kick off big time, and it's not letting up anytime soon. In the royal castle, a huge meeting is kicking off, and the princess finally lets those kneeling guys talk. Then she hits them with one question: "What can you offer?" With long, straight hair flowing, he bows deep to Princess Rosemary, fires off a heartfelt thanks, and then snaps, "I'm Ferdinand from the Flying Dragon Squad." Whoa, so listen up. The knights snapped to the king's command and went hunting for those hidden doors deep inside the labyrinth, right? They're the first on the scene. Then they're gonna rush back and tell her everything, but the girls, "Yeah, I've heard that song before." Ferdinand's acting all cocky, like he's already won. He picked these guys for this exact mission, because he's betting they're the only ones who think they know where that door's chilling. The princess flips her fan like she's starring on stage, grinning as she says it's straight up nuts that he's betting everything on these randoms. Then she hits you with a, "Yo, find the door, come back to me, and I'll make it worth your while with a reward." The guys blow out of there completely hyped to the max, even though they still haven't found a damn thing yet. They're partying because one of them's got shady buddies cooking up trouble in the western slums. Ferdinand thought, if we play this right, we can win plain and simple. The princess's trust gets ripped away, and he's finally got the kind of power that comes with being loaded. Fast forward. Our squad's storming the royal castle. Grace prowls the nights, watching everything, and puts the kingdoms on notice. This Labyrinth deal is no joke, and yeah, it's totally awkward for them. Showing up right after promising he'd stay out of it. Then Theodore clocks Jasper, the same guy who was squaring up with a knight earlier. Yet now he's just posted up, relaxed, and vibing with them. The MC can't shake the question in his head. Did his crew finally get paid for that? But the second the guy catches him staring, he snaps back and rolls up. Straight up, he asks, "Is there a problem?" Fernando steps in and asks if they know each other, but the grumpy guy shoots back, "Nah, he's all mage." Do the knights have any idea what Chester's deal really is? Even though the boy swore he'd stay out of it, Fernando didn't care one bit. Beard, grinning like he owns the place. The long-haired dudes just follow his lead like, "I'm not here to fight. Don't care what you think, just stay out of the knight's business." But the MC won't let it slide. He snaps back and demands, "What did you mean by that?" Fernando just shrugs, then strides straight through the portal like it's nothing making it crystal clear he's trying to win over the princess. The hero asks Sheila where those guys disappeared to, and she points them out saying they bolted straight into the dusk forest. So the squad locks in and decides to follow right now. Roll with me and see what trouble those guys are cooking. The way those guys move, it's like they can already point to the door without even looking. Suddenly, clang swords start ringing, and the catgirls all go, "Oh no, someone's in trouble." She drives them forward, and they sprint straight into the chaos, only to find people locked in brutal fights with plants and fungi. A sneaky, nasty sound starts messing with the warriors' focus, throwing off their rhythm and hurting the... Theodore's eyes lock onto Lord Mercedia right in the middle of the battle line. Grace shoots in to help right when it counts. Ashley's stuck on sleep duty, and Sheila's finally rolling with Mercedes back in tow. Our heroes are getting slammed by those sleep-casting shrooms. But then, boom, something explodes through the air and blasts straight toward him. The boys blinked. What the heck just happened? A splash of milk rockets up from the bush. He cracks his knuckles and charges in to land the attack, spotting humans messing with sketchy magic circles like they're about to pull off something dangerous. It's those adventurers. Jasper's right in the middle of it. The armored guy whined like it was the end of the world. He kept mining, and then the spell circle snapped to life at his feet. A freaky monster bursts out of nowhere. Theo slammed the charges in, but before he even gets a chance to move, just like that, when the signal hits, the adventurers disappear without a trace, slamming the moment down and leaving a piece of himself behind. It's a pitch-black teleportation gem, and it feels like it's about to tear a hole in reality. And the MCs are staring like, wait, why would they have that later? Later, Mercedes beams with gratitude, swearing she'd be a goner without the heroes. Nobody saw those monsters teaming up like that coming. And you just know it's because some humans have been poking the situation. The hero leans in and asks her if she's the one calling the shots on the Dusk Forest exploration, narration. And she nods like she understands. Then right on cue, someone calls her name. A guy blurts out the wild idea, "Let's hire some adventurers," and fires off a desperate question, can the heroes help them? Help this Mercedes-like situation could turn nasty fast. That past adventure turned into a disaster, and now there's a blockade we can't break free from. She decides to slow down for a second, pull back, dig into what she can, and then crash back into the forest. While they're out there hunting teleportation stones again too, "Fans," she demands Theodore's crew help them get back safe before it all goes sideways. The boys were all in, and the Night Lady leans in and says, if those two were actually summoning monsters, so they had to stay razor sharp and keep watch until they got back. So the squad links up with the Ninth Right when everything starts to heat up. At night, this spooky forest turns into a labyrinth of shadows. There's mystery everywhere, swirling like it's hunting you. A girl oozing mega bright energy, with a presence so massive it feels like it could swallow the whole room huge. Those huge eyes snap open the second she hears the main dude's name. Our heroes creep through the pitch-black forest, every shadow screaming that danger's lurking quiet, deadly, and probably right on top of them. Sheila's serving up some insanely good soups. Super ears, listen up. I've got something wild for you. But Theo's already got it handled. She sensed something was coming, and the bright-eyed girl with that innocent face didn't realize she was already in the storm. He strolls right up to the crew. The adventurers tighten their gear, itching to jump in if trouble hits. But the girl's sudden pop in the woods leaves them rattled, especially since she's out there all alone. Without a single word, she just pieces out, sprinting away. Theodore reckons she could be some kind of lost adventurer. She bolts ahead, and then he snaps after her, and everyone's, "All right, let's go now." The main guy can't stop asking why she's out here all by herself. No matter how hard they sprint, she slips away like a ghost. Maybe she's bound to the adventurers who are messing with Mercedes, so they had to stay razor sharp, ready to spot any sneaky trap before it snapped shut. Out of nowhere, they trip right into this ridiculously fancy door, like it just jumped out and dared them to open it. The girl stops dead right in front of it, and with a chill voice, she calls out the main dude's name, and the whole crowd's brains instantly explode in shock. She snaps that a calamity's about to hit, and demons better stay far away. Yet our boys stare like, "Wait, what?" That's it. He snaps back mean-spiritedly and grills asking if she even knows who she is. Then just smirks like, "Yeah, of course. I'm not totally sure," but as they're chatting, she feels weirdly familiar. The girl slips straight through the door like it's nothing, and then she's gone, vanishing without a trace. The main dudes hesitated for a second about who she really is and why she dragged them there. But his BFO memories are buzzing non-stop with wild ideas. That sealed door could be twisting Irma Hilt's Labyrinth memories into something terrifying, especially since that mysterious girl might be the Labyrinth's guardian, judging by her cryptic words. And when Irma crossed that door, she vanished like magic, like the place swallowed her whole. So yeah, it's chaos, but the only play is to keep your eyes on one goal: escape the labyrinth. The crew pushes deeper into the forest, and every step screams mystery. Suddenly, their eyes lock onto a strange glowing flower in the dark. The flower twists into a freaky monstrosity, and the adventurers brace themselves for a full-on fight. After the showdown explodes, they uncover it. Snag that shiny crystal. It's the teleportation stone they've been hunting. They use the magic stone to slam right back into action. "All right, that's it. Time to relax, Mercedes. All sorry I dragged you guys all the way to the exit." He breaks out of there, and the whole place is buzzing. Everyone's talking non-stop about it. It was basically a monster magnet, and trying to explore in that pitch-black dark felt brutal until tracking down that stone turned into a full-on mission. Those teleportation stones had the main dude side-eyeing everything like, "Something's off here," wondering if it's all tied to that demon Lynette who, she spilled every last secret about these stones right up until her end. He's weighing one scary thought: were those adventurers secretly working with the demoness? Or is some even bigger villain yanking the strings, steering monsters in place, and hitting Mercedes for his own sick reasons? Theodore blurts out, "I've got to warn the royal castle, there's a serious enemy out there. I just know it." The night girl and the crew race to the castle to dump the report. To say thanks, she hands the main guy something useful right then and there. It's the pic of the inscriptions, stripping the report down so it's way easier to understand, right up to where Theos starts like, "I'm handing you credit for that find, props, seriously." After this wild, unforgettable adventure, they turn to each other, say their heartfelt goodbyes, and part ways. While she's walking beside the main dude, the cat girl suddenly feels something off, like a premonition is crawling up her spine. She freezes mid-step, eyes drifting as her mind spirals, while Theo panics, instantly clocking that she stopped cold and got lost in her own head. But she shrugs it off, yet you can clearly see someone's feet hiding behind that pillar. Mercedes shot out an apology for the chaos, and everyone was so blindsided they didn't know what hit them. The track felt brutal, and the labyrinth wasn't just hard, it was downright vicious. Then, without warning, hooded warriors drop from above and smash the ambush right on top of them. Luckily, the warrior clocks them just before they hit, and he steps up, defending like an absolute beast. She rallied her crew, slamming them into gear to strike back. Mac, the knight at full intensity, squares up with the hooded figure, trying to flex her authority, praying it works, even if it costs her everything, hoping Hoping it'll end the attack, the hooded figure barrels in, then smashes a knockout strike into the girl's neck, dropping her dead on the spot. They're getting absolutely wrecked, coughing hard and groaning in raw, full-body pain, shattered into nothing by the attack. A mysterious stranger pulls up, laughing like he already knows the ambush is sealed. Meanwhile, two shady guys trade super serious words, one pushing, "Keep it quiet, stay low," and the other snapping, "Yo, take the prisoner to the hideout." Then bam, fast forward. Mercedes shoots upright, gasping like something just yanked her out of a nightmare. She's strapped up, trapped but hey, at least her squad's still standing and fighting. She's fuming, and she's warning that whoever tangled with her crew is about to pay big time. Then boom, those footsteps hit the ground. And this dude's like, "I knew you'd wake up fast as hell." She locks eyes with her captor, and boom, it's Fernando. He grins like, "Yep, this was my master plan all along." He snatches out a sheet of paper stamped with a sealed portal, grinning like a full-on villain as he taunts her. "So that's your big goal." Now he's about to snatch the glory and the pick right out from under everyone else. He demands they ship it straight to the king, ASAP, and just hands the rest to Jasper. Yeah, the grumpy one who basically goes, "You got it, boss." And Mercedes can't believe it. He's been Team Fernando the whole time, dodging those shady dudes who run on no credit, no cash, like it's nothing, you know? They didn't come here to catch her. She's dying to know what they'll do next, but they swear no one's getting killed. So they're just gonna sling a few spells and keep her out of their way. Everyone's laughing like, "We're gonna have a blast." She's seething, screaming at them like filthy jerks, and just when the baddies think they've already won, the roof explodes like a fireworks show in the blink of an eye, and our hero comes crashing in. Jasper is panicking, flipping out over how that kid somehow found their secret lair. Right there, he shows off his trusty kitty, and the hero grins, "Thanks, my awesome sidekick really pulls it off." Then he's fully geared up, and trust me, your Doom guys are about to get wrecked. Jasper is plastered to the wall, like the world just nailed him there, trying to push his evil plans through with pure argument and sheer force. Mercedes feels totally flustered until that kid saves her twice, and now she's desperate to figure out a way to repay him. Then Grace bursts in, breathless and apologizing for being late. Ashley might be late, but everyone's chill because she's stepping up on medic duty to keep the soldiers alive. Meanwhile, the heroes sprint after Fernando the mastermind, who cooked up this whole disaster. But there's still more to uncover. Plus, it's got that Mercedes-like spark. Hold up, this is royal stuff, and I can't just sit back, so I'm jumping in to help. She's begging Grace to come with her, like she won't let this trip happen without her. Finally, with her maid buddy by her side, she felt safe for once. Sheila and Irma Hilt are riding with Ashley and the crew, just in case new baddies are lurking around the corner. So the crew broke apart on the spot, fired up to seize their missions one by one. Meanwhile, inside the royal castle, the drama is about to explode. The princess goes out on her nightly stroll, tugging her companion's attention as she quizzes, "So what's going on at this hour?" An hour later, the guys blur out, "Sorry for the late chat, but I've got urgent news for Her Majesty." The princesses snap to attention, instantly realizing they'd stumbled onto the sealed door. For Fernando's sake, the knights dug deep, and bam, they finally struck gold. But those doors and their carved markings are the real key. He nails the pattern exactly, like it was made for him. After they finally spotted the door, the knights got slammed with challenge after challenge. They got wiped out. Lord Mercedes' unit fell to monster attacks, and honestly, it kills me to watch that happen. But the knight clenched his teeth and stormed through, racing back to report everything to the princess. Yeah, Rosemary's razor-sharp senses kick in, and she knows he's hiding something. She may not say it right away, but once he shows how hard he's trying, she'll finally recognize his efforts, and she'll reward him right back for it. But then, bam, a voice slices through the silence, claiming the Discovery Mercedes and her squad standing there, all business and locked in, like something huge just hit. Fernando's face went pale, and he couldn't even believe what he was seeing. The princess's maid rushes in, begging for forgiveness, insisting she never had a way to stop them. Rosemary stayed cool and said, "It's fine," and now she finally knows who the real fool is. She promises Mercedes she'll personally hand-deliver the drawing to the king, then tells her to deal with Fernando any way she wants. Right before she can finish her sentence, the girl drops a jaw. dropping bombshell something that matters more than anything to her. Her why is the princess acting all smug, and why the heck is the demon slayer tagging along with her? He has to have a reason, doesn't he? The boy blurted in, spilling his theory that those two knights are secretly demons wearing masks. Fernando's eyes pop open, and he blurts, "Wait, what?" practically screaming out what the boy just said. Boom, flashback time. Mercedes leaned in, laughing and chatting up Theodore like it was the most important moment in the world. He leaned in and grilled him. "Are you sure this plan isn't totally out of its mind?" He's got zero hard proof, just a gut feeling. And it spikes when demons start nosing around the Moonlight Temple seal, then in the Dusk Forest. They're even sending monsters to mess with Mercedes, and she's just like, "Whoa, what is happening?" Then Theo hits you with a jaw-dropper. Those two are sharing something only demons can have, and he's got solid proof to back it up so fast forward. Now it's the present, he's clutching a tiny pebble between his fingers, and it's a sliver of a black teleportation stone. He flings it into the air, and then one of the suspects goes down for it. The aspect snatches it right out of mid-air like it's nothing. Wet, laughing those young dudes all. After that forest run, I knew for real you were built different. Especially after you wiped out Lynette once he blurts out the demoness's name. It's game over, folks. But surprise, Fernando gets blindsided too, for real. He finally understood he'd dragged demons straight into the palace, and that's when the oops hit. Clutching the gem fragment like I did before the main event, I watched the suspects turn. Yeah, I'm totally busted. And now there's no escape. I just need a snack first. Staring at the princess, the main characters are left completely stunned. I'm gonna have to turn this a little rough. Cool with that. Grinning the royals, every last one. Yeah, I'm the one who set it all up. So go wild, and then, boom, a massive explosion tears through the castle. The epic showdown erupts as Theodore barrels after the sneaky demon. Grace is charging straight at them, and Mercedes is making a move for Fernando. So yeah, the demons are eating up every bit of this chaos and loving it, and the vampires cornered him right there against one with a ponytail. This demon swoops in with wings and starts toying with the girl, teasing her as he says she vows she'll beat him. But even she can't stay in the air long enough to hover. She checked her weapons and the demons couldn't stop staring at those giant axes like they were pure awesomeness. She rockets forward and tackles him in one explosive leap. Elsewhere, steel screams as swords smash against each other. 2 nights of non-stop combat, chasing glory until... But Mercedes had pure, deadly talent, and with one wild swing, everything changed. She blasts her foe clean into the air, and he goes flying, leaving him. He left him stunned. He was convinced she belonged locked away. But she's all. "You're pulling dirty tricks, so don't call it honorable, this is unknightly." Without even slowing a beat, she hammers her dishonored opponent with a non-stop rain of sword strikes. Fernando goes, "Whoa, she's whipping out martial arts and totally crushing it." She nails the finishing blow, right on the final hit. Down there, the guy's losing his mind, screaming like a banshee. Crushed by the impact of her attack, she stands there, victorious and utterly honorable. She finishes her move, then snaps that there's no room in her night squad for losers like him. Theodore steals a quick look at the battle nearby, and he sees, watching his night buddies finally wrestle everything into control. But while he's getting distracted, the sneaky demons are quietly gearing up for an attack with Theo slips the hit like a trained fighter. Then bam, he yanks out a lightning-fast spell with his... He yanked the reins of his staff, snapping at the demon to lock in and stay razor-focused. He unleashes a storm of tiny magical cyclones, then slams an attack called Resonance Mine into the enemy. Even though it's a mega-powerful hit, the smoke finally bursts away. The enemy's silhouette cracked into view, and there it stood. Still breathing, now the demon's real form has finally broken free. He burst out of the shadows, ready to unleash every last drop of his power. Both the fighter and the demon snap into a sudden, mind-blowing new form at the same time. Mercedes spooked. The princess is trapped, and the demons grin. "Yeah, I'm Zebian, Flames of Hell. Nice to meet you." Zebian's offense lands blow after blow on the pro, crushing them one hit at a time. So when he's finally ready, this is about to get wild, but first, before he goes down, the villain tries to get his opponent's name, because he's about to knock him out and take control. Then, with his Ouroboros staff up and ready, our hero strikes back with a voice that hits like thunder. He rockets straight at the demon, screams his full name, and blasts his extreme heat into the air. Silver smoke roaring as the move powers up. The villains didn't even flinch. staring the energy ball down like it's not even worth his time. With a thunderous swing, Zebion carves through the energy and smothers it. The whole place surges with unbearable heat and a choking miasma. Theodore is dead sure that the miasma sword isn't some run-of-the-mill blade, because he's got only 2 moves left. Step into a martial arts brawl or tear out a magical weapon and swing for the win. Basically, our hero realizes he's the only one who can step up and take down this baddie, and they tear into an epic showdown. A showdown sword clashing against staff. The demon mouths off non-stop, taunting our hero, screaming at the kid to gulp down thirst for battle. Meanwhile, out on the battlefield, where the air itself crackles with war great, Grace faces off with a skeletal demon that's basically like, "Yo, wanna hear my story?" Dodging every hit like a pro, the vampire slipped through the chaos. The Empire basically pulls a hard nope on the demon drama. But the demons wouldn't quit. He screams that he's fighting for his starving demon pals, then pins the blame for their hunger straight on the humans. To keep his crew alive, he tells them they've got to take over humans, no mercy. But Grace isn't built on that kind of life. It's about laughing in the face of demons like, come on, you finally get it. Now ask. If Grace has clocked something, and she suddenly spots a shimmering silver mist hanging in the air. The enemy blew open and spread everywhere. And it's not some lame poison, so she'd better watch her back. Out because, if she inhaled it, Grace would have started seeing insane things. And the next thing she knew, her enemy was gone, replaced by a face she recognized. It's me, Lisa Theodore's mum, and the swirling mists twist her vision, turning that demon into the one person she feels she loves. This absolutely freaks the vampire out. Her eyes snap to a new color, and she's like, "You're using her face like it's nothing." Then Theo's voice cracks through the air. He yells from a distance and shouts for Grace to shudder her eyes. Chills run down her spine as she leans in to listen. So she digs in her heels and keeps fighting Blonde. Blindfolded and fighting through pure chaos is brutal, especially when the enemy keeps shouting for her to open her eyes. Our girl digs in and refuses to back down. Swinging her massive axe like a wrecking ball, rage rippled through him as the chain pulled him tight, axis and all, right in place. She's got a gut feeling that if she pulls that move, she's done. Kadokia's eyes won't swallow that cheap trick. Her sheer determination drives the demon up the wall. But then, bam, she slams that hit, and the demons just can't believe it. Even with her eyes shut tight, and with one brutal swing, she utterly smashes the demon in a massive axe hit. The villains reeled and coughed as those blows landed right as the next twist hit, and Grace tightens her grip, ready to slam in one final decisive attack, which is more than enough to take the clean off the demon's head. No mercy, no hesitation. It's cackling like a total maniac. Meanwhile, Theodore and the demon Zebion are still duking it out, the armored menace barreling straight at it. To the mage who hurls ruthless ice spells. But the enemy slams up his massive shield, and just like that, it erupts into a blazing explosion right beside our hero. Theodore's jaw drops from the move, and the truth hits him. He realizes, like his opponent might have magical eyes that see right through him. The demons were like, "Yeah, right, this human's going to break." But then I started brawling, and somehow we're both having the time of our lives. But he's done playing around. He's ready to go full serious, and he saying it's time to cut the small talk and get down to business. Stories. Then bam, the doors fly open, and it's game on, and the whole fate will be decided in the blink of an eye. But our hero pops up over and he calls Grace his win. Victory is right there, and Ashley's waiting, so he knows he has to win, no excuses. Demons surged forward, charging up a devastating move, and Theo wastes zero time. He thrusts his staff forward and charges headfirst into the fray. Watching the heroes race toward the finish line, the enemy tightens his grip and raises his sword for a brutal downward slash. Theodore slams his guard up and blocks it. And suddenly, the fight ignites into a brutal showdown. Screams roaring through the distance, getting louder by the second. With a burst of magic, Theo shoves him back right where he belongs. Even after the whole sky erupted in a massive explosion, the enemy line is still standing, so Theo barrels forward again, this time slipping in behind them with a brutal, piercing strike. With pure determination burning in him, he smashes the demon's chest open. It's the best moment now or never. All right, let's finish this fight right now. But with one sharp glance, the demon detonates an explosion right by Theo, blasting him into panic. It's those magical eyes, like they're glowing straight into his soul. Theodore manages to slip back a little. Then the enemy unleashes a blast, charging raw energy from his own mouth right as it all hits. And then Theo got hit with a full-on blast right as they charged at. He barely even dodges. Then, boom, surprise, it isn't Theo at all, just a sneaky illusion meant to fool the demon. And the real Theo behind the curtain, ready to spring the trap. Theo catches the enemy flat-footed and slams down a 9th-level ice magic glacial fortress. This freezes the demon solid like a statue. And then Theo smashes it to pieces, unleashing a breathtaking snowfall that steals the sky. Grace, Mercedes, and the Sikossi. Princess watched the romantic snow swirl down like a love letter falling from the sky, plummeting from the starry sky. Whoa, hold up. This plot twist just flipped everything upside down. The enemy's still standing, starts laughing out loud and goes, "Don't tell me I just sent the wrong report this time." They shot a messenger to their pals to spread the word about the door, but now it's way too late, he's gone. And we can't catch him. But instead of getting lost in moonlight time talk, everyone should have had their eyes glued to Theodore Gartner, because Zebians are whispering that there's a way to escape his dull, sleep-inducing routine. Days go by, so he hops on board with them, because if this is the kind of fight that's this much fun, who on earth wouldn't want in? Tanjiro's heart is overflowing with gratitude, but that fearless kid rockets straight in and drives in the final hit. Boom! The brutal demon explodes into glittering fragments, while the princess below stares in pure shock, totally mind-blown. Fernando's face is a disaster, and he's non-stop whining about how he's the one stuck handling all this drama. Mercedes stood there, towering with fury, and said that the guy attacked the knights and even joined forces with demons, all because greed drove him. So yeah, he'd better take that punishment like a real knight and own it. Meanwhile, Theodore snagged front-row seats to the sea. Chaos erupted as the knights charged straight at him. The young lady double-checks that the boy's sure he doesn't need help for those injuries, and the hero waves it off like, "Nah, just a little burn, I'm good." With a tearful, sorry look, she blurts out that the knights caused all this chaos and begs for a pardon. But the main guy's convinced nobody caught those two demons sneaking in. So yeah, this was only a matter of time. From this point on, the knights take over, and the captain of their squad will swing by later to break down everything that just happened. Down they go, and the boys look completely wrecked, explaining he's still just a kid and he desperately needs his Ziz. Grace and Theo bounce, and Mercedes-Benz gets the message, grinning, because the boys finally scored a point. They tear back home, the whole trio crashing in hard, catching my breath and recharging after all that chaos. But before Mercedes-Benz can even settle in, it doesn't take long before Sidia rolls up in a carriage like she owns the road, snagging the kid right in the middle of his nap. She swears she's not here to act like a knight, but she's carrying a royal message, and it's about to shake things up. His Highness Melvin is dying to talk about the Labyrinth, and he wants the full story about the demon that young dude just crushed. And the king demands to tag along too, because the demon-slaying reward is exactly the kind of prize you don't leave behind. The main guy leans in and says, "All right, we're in." Mercedes flashes them a grin and then bolts out the door, and before you know it, the two adventures are about to kick off. Adventurers are kicking back at the royal palace, just relaxing while the real trouble brews. The king greets them with open arms, and Melvin's already heard every legend. Mercedes extends a hand and points him straight at your epic feats. The boy drops into a deep bow, overflowing with gratitude for the royal invite, and the king waves him off like, "All right, now relax. Forget the formalities, just them two is all it takes." But before he jumped into the deal, the king is about to introduce two peeps, and trust me, this is where everything kicks off. Then bam, an old guy strides in, and right behind him follows a young woman who looks stone serious. Ricardo, the royal court mage, brought the guys to the party. Then he hands over the theoprops for his work. And that young woman, it's Mildred, the knight captain, smiling as she thanks the young man for saving the day and Mercedesia. Then the captain whips around to the king and asks, can she please deliver the knight's report first? Reports spread about Mercedes' attack and the demons Fernando had dragged into the castle. They hauled out some brutal magic interrogation, but he dug up next to nothing on those two demons. The main guy claims those two were out there teaming up with an adventurer named Jasper. She must have whispered those secrets without realizing what they meant. Mildred's in a total panic, swearing she's going to make Fernando pay for every bit of chaos he's caused, but the main guy's basically slipped into the squad I built, so the knights get off the hook, Then the woman gives him a grateful nod, finishes her report, and hands the mic straight to Theodore. Zebian and Zarbash were right there with Lynette on the same mission, scouting the labyrinth and hunting for whatever waited inside. They called in a familiar and pulled in intel fast. Zebian didn't even hesitate. He said the sealed door had already been reported, and the villain snapped that the Moonlight Temple was the one roadblock standing in its way. The king leaned in, eyes sharp, and grilled Ricardo about that seal. Turns out the mage cracked ancient manuscript codes and spilled the details. Back in the day, the temple and the demons collided in a full-on showdown. The temple crashed the fight and stole something from them. No one can even say what it is for sure, but if the demons are itching to get it back, then letting the temple win is basically a death wish, and the Moonlight Shrines slammed up those barriers to keep the nosy people out for good. Slip past that door inside is a jewel meant to impress the 4 legendary spirit bosses, like VIP access for the top dogs. The monarchs all, hey, if there are 4 spirits, then where are the other 3 doors hiding? And the mage goes, yep, you got it. Right after this, the energy-powered barriers finally take a breather. Before that, they have to crank the jewel full of spiritual energy through a ritual. But once they smash through that sealed door, they're completely lost, because the bugs chewed up a key chunk of the manuscript. Still, they know plenty of other doors exist, and the knights, especially Chester, can flip straight into full detective mode. The main dude's convinced the demons have way more answers than he does. More, but something is screwing with their signals, so they keep checking the seals, and the boys are doodling like mad. Whoa, this totally looks like a road trip map. And that door's pattern screams, the stars have a secret. Bet once the heavens line up, that door's gonna swing wide open. Then Melvin's like, yo, those celestial bodies in the temple's hood are messing with something bigger. Need a hand. These young dudes, yeah, bummer watch. Helpless as the heroes can't stop the demons from getting the 411, so they're probably gonna fire up a villain squad. I don't know what the baddies are plotting, but after those 2 demon attacks, this city can't afford to sleep, so yeah, hey. Now the monarchs are on standby. Once that door swings open, they'll rush in, rally the squad, and grab the other 3 doors at the temple. Then the king steps up and bluntly asks the hero if he's ready to square up with the demons in the next showdown. RMC's basically like, no one even has to ask, I am already all in, ready to knock them down. Melvin shoots him a grin, super thankful, and basically says, all right, new topic time. For cracking the sealed door mystery and wiping out demons like Ebion and Zarbash, the heroes are raking in fresh, sweet loot, and even the monarchs like Theodore and Grace are watching closely, so don't tell me you're not ready to see how your mind could change about what we just talked about. But all the boys were chasing adventure and living on the edge, and the vampires stay cool as long as she keeps rolling with her master. The king shuts his eyes and swears it's fine, but after that massive request he just tossed out, he still isn't done. There's one more thing. He's trying to get them an official title, so it's not just some flashy name, but the real deal. Time passes, but what's about to happen is different. Special, free, and with no strings attached. First, the dude corners Ricardo, and the maid shrugs like it's no big deal, same vibe as Mildred, who insists the title has to scream the young man's wins. Fighting his way to get behind the lady, the mage says they don't just want a title, they need something so huge it belongs to the court, with real clout, so nobody could ever mistake it for a mere fancy badge. Melvin's like, it's got to be Labyrinth-themed, so we need to cook up a fresh new gig or title for him. Stat. All these pointless talks are grinding our hero down because he saw exactly where this was going the moment it started. After a wild round of debate, the king finally slams down his decision and declares that the MC is going to be the official Labyrinth Explorer. His badge is going in as the face of it, with a title everyone's going to recognize. Theodore Gartner. The king officially names him, dragging him through the whole meeting, like the underworld's ambassador had the power to command the air itself. With this title, he's stepping out for the monarch, and if trouble hits, there's even a little extra waiting in his back pocket. As a reward for slamming Demon Zarbash, Grace finally gets knighted and he'll serve straight under the ambassador of the underworld. After that marathon meeting drained them, the 2 adventurers practically tore through the door and headed straight for a fancy swanky room. A room falls dead silent, and then a voice cuts in like, you're late. The princess sweeps in, fan clicking in her hand, and calls the boys' demon smackdown an absolute showstopper, getting right into the protagonists. She leans in, taps the fan against his neck, and asks flat out if he wants to be her sidekick. The main dude shoots her a hard, gnawing stare. He swats the fan aside and declares, "I'm all..." He's already scored a gig straight from the king himself. A little bummed out. The girls still, they like it. "All right, since you're my dad's guest, I'll let it slide." The princess scoffs that everyone's buzzing about labyrinths and demons, and it's insanely boring, so she snaps her attention away and ditches the main guy behind her. The boy shoots back, saying, "If you're hunting a Chester or Fernando replacement, you're barking up the wrong tree." Our hero strides in like he owns the place and introduces himself right on the spot. He tells himself he's been handed a royal mission to go examine that sealed gate. He's pushing for a 411 update on how everything's going. She jabs her finger at the doorway and says, and just like that, he points, "It's this way." As he climbs the stairs, a young woman steps into view, waiting for him. She smiles and introduces herself as Penelope, the chief priestess. She swears she's heard every last detail of that boy's legendary adventure and that the royal palace had already sent orders, "Help him out as hard as you can." The mission track down the hidden link between those carved doors and the stars above. They call the priestess in, and every astronomy whiz in the room springs to attention. The second they got the news, they charged straight into those ancient temple scrolls. It turns out the door has a pattern on it. The door keeps tracking every move the planet makes, and just like that, they figured out the exact moment the door would swing open. The gate seal in Dusk Forest looks like it's one winter away from cracking wide open. It looks like the demons clocked it perfectly right when the gate opens. They come crashing in. That temple keeps digging non-stop, and if there's any fresh news, it'll post the update right away. After the news hits, the main character grins, throws them their thanks, and demands to know who the young woman is, who she really is, because something about her feels too important to ignore, who's been snatching secret glances at them. Penelope snaps, "Your Highness, Marlene," and Theodore chimes in, "Hey." And he admits it's been way too long since he last saw her. The young woman ushers her inside and tells her, straight to her face, to stop hiding. But the young girl's confidence crumbles. She gets shy on the spot, bolts forward, slams the door shut, and leaves. She storms off, leaving them in the dust. Then the priestess fires a question. "Does the boy know, Marlene?" He nods and tells her they met at the royal palace. But it was gone in a flash, a quick bite of meat. She shoots out an apology and then lays out the real reason behind the girl's wild behavior. And now the poor young girl can't even speak anymore. When she was little, she got poisoned, so her mum slammed a spell straight into herself, took the poison away, and it left her mum utterly speechless. The king was crushed by what happened, so he sent his daughter straight to the temple. With her wild, unstoppable magic, she surged into becoming a priestess. Someday, she'll hit her stride and become a real force to be reckoned with. Right now, she's still just figuring everything out. Penelope grabs her hopes and swears she'll do anything to help her. She's praying it'll all be fine, even when she's not at the temple. This little girl suddenly lost her voice, got ripped away from her mum, and was sent straight to the temple, so the main character digs in, feels every bit of her pain, and finally understands why she's been distant. But one day, Princess Marlene finally finds a calm little spot where she can breathe in peace. Our hero bursts out of the temple. He barrels into the temple and finally links up with Sheila. Healer and Imu Hilt swept the win for it, clean and undeniable. They want to talk up a storm with the boy about some stuff. He and Grace are hitting special training with golems, pushing themselves hard to be ready for the next battle. Sheila doesn't even flinch. She bluntly says they want to crash at the protagonist's place too. Since the boys have been slammed non-stop, they decide to stick together. They've always got each other's back, no matter what hits them. With a grin, the young man promises he's got extra rooms perfect for you. Just say you're okay with getting them blessed. The tiny cat blurts out, "Don't worry, I got this." It hooks up with her buddy and then dashes off. Our main character is basically buzzing with excitement about it. I'm telling myself this is going to get way more fun once everything starts clicking. A thunderous voice blasts through the air, welcoming everyone into the Brightwell workshop. As soon as the adventurers step into the shop, their hosts erupt with excitement, practically buzzing them on the spot. Alfred corners the hero and blurts out whether those young women are carrying gear that's way too heavy for them. Theodore tells him it's on the agenda, but first, he's itching to introduce someone to the world. Then, just like that, he disappears into thin air. She isn't just riding along, she's clinging to his back for dear life. And get this, Marion is actually his relative, dragged there just to break the routine And honestly, she's a perfect little angel, the kind who stays quiet when she needs to. Grace tries to wave and say hi, but the shy girl freezes up and won't answer. But the vampires pulled a sly move and asks whether Marion's into embroidery. Boom, her eyes spark to life. The girls huddle together and start stitching embroidery like it's mission time, and the maid grabs her invite and urges her to come along. Prince Albert, disguised as Alfred, leans in and claims the girl is his own relative. But besides being mute, she somehow looks exactly like a real person. No joke, absolutely. Turns out Marion is actually Princess Marlene of Beldgar, and she probably just cast a magic makeover, same as the prince did. Now our main dude finally gets why that young guy was dead set on bringing the girls along. It's pretty chill for the little one to kick it with the other girls and just vibe out. Then the conversation snaps back to the grind, straight into chatting about work stuff, and the young guy's all still. Now that you're an ambassador, you've officially leveled up. Now you gotta sound all fancy. Theo's like, oh, and get this. His Majesty just dropped a mission on us. We teamed up with the royal family and marched straight into a demon war. Realizing his training is about to turn brutal, the boy double-checks his gear and asks Alfred to help him get it all ready. He burst out laughing, looked those young guys in the eye and said, "Gotcha, I can help. But first, let me spill some tea." He built this workshop with his own hands, forged magical gadgets non-stop, and now he's finally stepping up, ready to bite into bigger challenges. If our hero gets stalled in that labyrinth, he won't be alone. Backup's ready. Theo's like, yo, how sick would it be if we could talk to people way far off? Alfred grabs his buddy's hand and promises with full heart determination that he'll do everything he can to help. All right, let's talk about the magical gadget. That young guy is dying to talk about Chester. Now the lords are probably creeping through that giant spooky swamp with a sealed door waiting for them. And with magical tools at their side, it's going to be a cakewalk. The hero can't stop wondering, will Prince Albert finally spill the beans? But nope, the knights refuse to interfere, because those sealed doors are a matter of life and death for the whole country. And the young guy swears he'll keep him in the loop. All right, once that's taken care of, he's going to start hammering on those weapons and yell the moment they're ready to roll. The video darts over to where the girls are embroidering and trading laughs. Watching that shy girl crack into a real smile, bringing them along was a damn smart move. But the second she catches him staring at her, Marion clutches Ashley tight and buries her face, hiding from whatever's happening. The main dude just shot it down, nah. It's not like everyone just hates him, and then decides to pull out a scrap of paper and show it to the little girl, crumpling it into a blazing little paper air rocket. He flicks it into the sky, and it rockets around the room like it's alive. Because in this world, planes straight up don't exist. It's probably the first. Have you ever seen anything like this, little girls? Her eyes flare with pure wonder. The airplane swoops back and lands right in the young guy's outstretched hand, and the ladies are totally wowed, so he grabs the moment and slides right up to the shy girl. He hands her the airplane, saying he's desperate for her to take it. And somehow it can soar with zero magic. Yep, the plan actually worked. That little girl's face lights up. She absolutely adores the gift. Gift, grinning so wide at the main guy that he can't help but swear she'll stay happy forever. Our guy daydreams about the day Princess Marlene can finally kick back in full peace and quiet. Meanwhile, in another corner, a mad scientist lab hums to life, pipettes lined up, glassware gleaming, and experiments ready to explode. A girl's voice cuts in, calling that silly boy out for having the nerve to turn down her invite. Fight or not, she's not backing down. This power is too irresistible to walk away from. She's dead set on getting it, no matter what gets thrown in her way. Going straight didn't work. And there's no reason to play it sneaky either. With a sharp grin, she remembers he isn't even the heir of Lord Gartner's family, and that the Gartners are drowning in drama, which is exactly why she's starting here. Then she lets out a sneaky laugh, because this situation is getting more and more delicious by the minute. The sky's choked with clouds, and Grayson Theach steps into it. Checking out the view, 'tis like the auto puts the whole world on display, so the air turns chilly. And the boys suddenly spot it right in front of them. A whole parade of familiar carriages came rumbling in, rolling up one after another. No doubt about it, the Crest family's coming in hot on that ride. All right, this fancy, sharp-suited guy steps out like he owns the whole place, and he shows up and greets the main guy, and the guy hits him with, "Dude, it's been ages since we actually hung out." That's his dad. He's got this classy gentleman grin that says trouble's coming. He can't believe it's been forever since he last saw both Theodore and Grace. Everyone's grinning like crazy, and they decide to move the conversation inside. As they burst into the house, then the main guy clocks it. His dad looks way more worn down than usual. Ever since Lisa fixed Count Henry Burdham Gartner with those hard, unblinking eyes, she hasn't looked back. The dad and son suddenly hit the most unbearable, awkward silence imaginable, and the rest of the fam wasn't vibing either. Our main crew is all fired up, wondering what's going on. Curious why this guy is even showing up at all. To kick things off, the guy, he jumps right in, gushing that this place is insanely dope and that it's gotta cost a fortune. But nah, the kids are like, a month. That's nothing, just 100 kirigu. Then the month drags on until Grace suddenly bounces in and cuts the whole conversation short. A maid bursts in with the tea, snapping into an apologetic bow for making you wait. Ashley wouldn't let him go. She kept tagging right along. He's all polite, asking who the young lady is, and he's the head of the bar insurance fam, and he leans in like, oh, so you're the one they've been talking about. Sheila suddenly bursts out from under the couch, claiming she's hurt enough to send Theo into a full-on mini heart attack. Irma Hilt barges in at the worst possible moment, declaring she finally tracked down her buddy, and suddenly the whole situation turns painfully awkward. Awkward silence hits after all the introductions. Henry just sips his tea, calls it lively here like the rumors said, and then the guy blurts out that he heard the kids been beating demons. Americans are marrying Lady Ashley. The whole Kato fam drama explodes, and the main guys go head-to-head with the king like it's their last shot. Yeah, most of it's dead on. He's basically saying, for most people, this is going to be brutal. They're not even trying to get it from anyone else. They're just locked in, doing their thing. Nope, nothing at all. I didn't need help, just like slipping straight back home. But then the kid's dad hits him with, I'm not trying to drag you back. So the guy realizes it's over. The moment the kids are tight with the king, no way to stop him now, especially once there's a title on the line, because if anyone tries to pull him home, it's game on and a brutal showdown with Catherine and the crew are there. Then Theo snaps, why are you even here? And the guy just stares and answers, I'm just checking on my son. And Henry finally confesses he never really did a thing to raise him, not even after his mum died, when his stepmom and his siblings came hunting for him. He's sure the kid probably hates him, but the main dude shuts that down. Nah, it's Catherine and her boys, Byron and Daryl, he's finished with it. And if his memory serves him right, the moment he heard the news that his mum had died, the big guy the little kid spotted was standing right at the grave. Wave crashed in, and the pain hit way too familiar, just like him on that brutal day. So yeah, no bad blood with his dad if he wants to swing by sometimes. It's totally cool. Henry's guilt crushed him because he wasn't there when it mattered. But Theo's like, yeah, I'm choosing this, moving out is my call. And because of that, Grace finally got to breathe easy too. And Lisa was pure awesomeness. Everyone stuck by her, no questions asked. The guy whips around to face Ashley. Especially, he straight up says, as the kid's dad, I'm giving you my blessing. But then, bam, a sudden noise ripped through the room and Sheila froze, convinced someone was coming. A kid rocking a bowl cut and a face twisted with rage erupts as he screams the hero's name. It's Byron, his half-bro. Henry rockets to his feet and blurts, what are you doing here, Byron? But the kids were screaming, demanding to know why he's showing up at the bastard's place with a dead serious stare. The guy tells Byron to calm down. He's only here to visit his son. But Byron goes full dramatic, saying his dad got played. Theo's hunting revenge, and they've got to sever ties with the mage. With a sly grin, the kid lets it slip that he's about to tell his mum. Henry paid a visit to the big shot, and you just know she'll lose it when she finds out her hubby stopped by the one kid who could blow up her inheritance. The OCs, the kids try to pull off. I'm using this move to smash the tiebreaker and claim the win. These days, the main dude finally gets it. He knows exactly what's happening and why he got tossed into this mess. But watching that brat throw Catherine's name around to wind up his dad drives him into pure rage. The bowl-cut kid snaps, telling his dad to go look at the people Theo's been hanging around with, even a half-breed, not the kind they'd ever put on these family records. Finally, Byron started losing it, cracking up non-stop. He's roasting the whole hero squad, and it's starting to drive him insane. Done with this nonsense, I'm done. He snaps his fingers and unleashes a spell. The kid gets blasted by a savage wave, soaking him in one wild splash. He waves, then absolutely yeets them straight out the window. The wave slams into the wall, then pops and dies out like it never stood a chance. He abandons the brat to crash land and get wrecked, and the guy's screaming, demanding to know who Theo thinks he's messing with. And on top of that, he throws shade, calling it cheeky, that he's saying this when he was born from a side chick. Our boy fires back, saying he's bouncing out to do his own thing. Then he snatches the foreign ambassador title right from the king himself. And he's got full-on authority to speak for the monarch when it comes to the Labyrinth. Byron is in pure disbelief, calling the kid a liar until his dad snaps back. Nope, that's the real deal. Theodore refuses to be shoved around just because he serves right under His Majesty Melvin. The kid's still not buying it. He keeps straight up denying Henry's story, while Henry insists he earned all this clout by taking down some demons, and he straight up insulted someone who outranked even his dad. And basically everyone in that room, he has to drop to his knees, bow to everyone there, and apologize right in front of them. The boy's completely snapping, spitting out that he'll never bow to his half-brother. That young guy only scraped by using tricks to take down a few demons. But now the truth is about to blow up in front of everyone. Then bam, a massive magic circle erupts right beneath the talker's feet. So now they're staring at the hero, demanding to know what he's going to do next. So he starts growling, like a warning animal, and blurts out, saying the hero will bust out magic again, then basically telling everyone, all right, throw hands. Then, no hesitation at all. Spotter TMC rockets in and drives a crushing knee straight into the boy's gut, snags his wrist, whips around, slams him to the ground, then stomps him flat. While twisting his half-brother's arm right there, Monroe yanked his arm. Then the boy cut him off, shouting, "Enough! Enough! Now zip it!" Their dad snaps his gaze aside and blurts out that this is devastating news for Byron. Set Byron's cluelessness aside, if that kid had just stopped long enough to think, he'd finally clock the brutal power gap. Then they ripped away his chance to inherit as the next family head and ordered him to scramble back to the country ASAP. That news slams into him, and the boy just deflates, going completely silent. Theo just stands there, eyes glued and unmoving. Outside the house, everything was about to explode. Dad and his son slam out the words, "We're..." Their goodbyes, and the man shoots off another apology, begging forgiveness for his son's wild antics. With a smug grin, the MC cracked a grin and said he swears he'll be waiting for his dad again. Then the carriage lurches forward and rolls out into the world. On top of everything, the caduceus sends chills down my spine. Even with his chest hurting, the hero decided it was smarter to send his familiar to keep watch over his dad. Since Byron could snap back into chaos any time, and once his stepmom realizes he lost the inheritance, who knows what she'll unleash. Our heroes were absolutely convinced this woman was pure danger. Theodore rushes to his friends and blurts out, "I'm sorry," right after that messy fallout with his half-brother. Earlier, they all told him, "No worries, we've got your back, no matter what comes next." Then the boy blurts that he'll go check on his dad's situation through caduceus. Right away, he taps into that vision-sharing power, and suddenly he's seeing everything his familiar is seeing at this very moment. Now it looks like the stepmom didn't waste a second. She bares her claws and starts screaming at Henry about the inheritance being cut. Looks like they're locked in the reception room. Just his dad and Catherine, and the man lays it all out. The boy didn't just smash into a noble's house, he insulted everyone inside, and now he's got to be punished. The woman demands to know which family got dissed, but the man shuts her down. He won't say a word and insists he'll tackle this mess all by himself. Then, screaming like a banshee, she blurts that the second they hit the door, Byron is locked in his room. Then she's already raced to confront him, demanding whether that kid really slipped off to the theater. Byron was born for the noble life, and Catherine was convinced there was no one else in the world like him. Henry says this isn't about who the boy disrespected, Teodoro included, because the half-bro, just for being the mistress's son, stormed in and set Henry's whole house on fire. At the house, the woman clears her throat and asks in a dry voice if there's a problem with it. The stepmom snaps that the punishment wasn't fair, and they explode into a heated argument. To shut him down, the man declares the hero is now directly under His Majesty the King. Catherine hears it and is so shaken she staggers back, crashes into a chair, and sends it clattering to the floor. Now that she knows the truth, she rushes in and starts bargaining. Morgan says, if you treat the hero right, the young man will forgive Byron and everything will finally calm down. Even as Henry tries to talk his way through it, he insists those other nobles saw the kid causing trouble. She blurted, "Don't worry, everything's gonna sort itself out. You don't need to cut them off from the cash flow." She notices her husband isn't moving an inch, so she demands, "Can I see my son now?" And he's kicked back in his room, just relaxing, no worries in sight. With a frosty glare, she yanks out a secret package like she's been hiding it her whole life. Yeah, it's probably sketchy stuff you definitely shouldn't be using. Sneak up on the dad when he's not watching. And that's exactly why our hero fired off Caduceus with hidden power no one saw coming, or he slams the coffee cup to pieces before that poisoned sip ever has a chance to get him. And Henry's just like, whoa, how in the world could she even think of pulling something like that? The ladies all got flustered and stammered until the dudes finally, "Enough, everyone's done with your drama, so it's time to breathe and chill," because he never saw her sneaky move coming. Catherine starts screaming, "The second she thinks my family might find out what you did," but Henry slams it shut, cutting her off, and declares they wouldn't dare. He's already got the upper hand, so if Catherine's crew dares to mess with this, it's game over. "I'll rise up as the top boss and fight to defend justice." She snaps, and then she falls headfirst into it. No hesitation, just pure obsession. Hurls himself forward, clamps a hand on his neck, and spits out threats like a warning wrapped in violence. Servants swarm in the moment they hear the chaos, rushing in like the world's on fire. Servants tear the brawl apart and shout, "What the heck is going on?" She's still shrieking as Henry finally snaps back to his cool. He's basically like, "My wife is freaking out, tell her to calm down and stay in her room for a bit." Watching through Caduceus's eyes, Theo finally exhaled relief flooding his face as his thoughts clicked into place. Phew, barely made it. Dad's got to be wiped out. No questions. The familiar snag caught up with her, pulling some of the sketchy stuff she'd planned to use right out of the shadows. We'll check it out with the alchemist later, and let's see what he uncovers. After everything that went down, our hero finally gets wiped out and crashes onto the bed, breathless. The very next day, the boy bursts into the city, and right after, he meets the beach. Beatrice, the alchemist, shows up and demands she go sniff out that sketchy business. She's like, "This isn't your run-of-the-mill potion, this is straight-up magic," with this insanely complex mix that totally overwhelms your senses. She has to tear into ancient scrolls to dig up the clues. It's an all-around kiss, whoever goes for it gets the kiss, and then boom, everything breaks loose, because they lose all their freedom, and the first person who dares to name them gets instant power to boss them around. This isn't some kid's game if Catherine can pull this off. If she'd been even half a second earlier, she would have seized control at that make-or-break moment. Beatrice tells everyone the ingredients are so rare they might as well be myth, and that making it takes forever. The hero's like, "Wait, how did my stepmom, the one who can't even do real magic, get her hands on this?" Judging by who she knows, her crew has Marquis Broderick. So yeah, Super Seuss is basically in her orbit. Maybe the Potion Master's next play is sending Sheila to one of her contacts. Because if anyone can dig up what the Thieves Guild is up to, it's her. The alchemist leans in and asks, "Did this actually help?" And the guy just goes, "Yeah." Elsewhere, women took charge of a super shady plant, and things got seriously suspicious fast. After a little while, and Theo remembers he's the one who sent her to hunt down the poisoned source. He leans in, demanding answers, asking if the kitty stumbled onto anything, and she goes, like, Catherine had a fortune teller she trusted with her life, and people spotted them side by side at the royal ball. Then she whips out a paper and points like, "You can check the guest list right here." So yeah, looks like Anastasia Alderisman is the one, a famous fortune teller from a wealthy family, always showing up at the fanciest social events. So yeah, the nobles are digging her hard, and even though Sheila hasn't seen her face yet, we'd better not pull any more nobles into this mess. Theo decides to swing by the castle to get ready. But right as he's about to the palace stood there teasing him, yet the king was still out of reach. He's swamped with the national protection ceremony for 3 whole days. The heroes sit down with the king and grill him about the fortune tellers they've got stuck on hold. A familiar face pops up. Then it flashes on screen Prince Albert. He's basically shocked Rare to catch him here. Then he leans in and asks if he's got something he wants to talk about. The main guy decides it's the perfect time to spill all the juicy secrets to the prince. So they stroll around the castle, soaking in every shadowy corner like it's part of the adventure. But then, out of nowhere, as he kept walking, he spots Princess Marlene, and the whole moment snaps into focus. All smiles drifted through the castle, soaking up every hallway like it was their personal playground. Prince Albert's back, and you won't believe it. He brought Theodore along as a souvenir. The kids all blush like they got caught red-handed, but hold up, something's not adding up. The princess is supposed to stay locked down in the temple for safety, right? But too much time at the temple can trap anyone in their own head. So she's laying low at the castle for a while. A bit, then the princess trots along for a stroll, and she's absolutely vibing as they roll past every view. And the second they crest the castle peak, she lights up like she just uncovered a secret stash of candy. Albert's all good. Hey, mind if we talk after my sister finishes showing out? Theodore's is like, bro, I'm not about to rain on the princess's parade. The little girls were sprinting in wild circles like their heads got cut off. You don't even need a GPS. Then, boom, she snaps together a paper airplane the exact way the hero taught her. But hold up, plot twist, and it hits like a truck. Our boy remembers the day he taught Marion. Then it hits him, not Marlene. The airplane trick, she launches it from the balcony and sends it ripping through the sky like it means business. Stirring up drama like crazy, this main dude's fighting to keep a straight face. And as the plane glides, Albert leans in like, all right, time for real talk. And with a voice so serious it feels like a math test. Albert admits it, trying to pretend he was Alfred was a total disaster. Even with royalty in his blood, his spots wouldn't stay steady, so he slipped on a ring and played dress-up to do things he couldn't pull off before. But Theos stayed totally calm like, bro, your vibes matched so perfectly it made the whole code break in seconds. Albert can't shake the fear their bromance is about to crack, but he's praying the main guy still has his back. Theodore goes, since we're already spilling secrets, so that magical gadget for Alfred, it's ready, isn't it? The young man just nods back, like he's confirming everything. He was bragging with the prototype like it was pure magic. Albert's been burning the midnight oil, welding anti-demon spells into the gadget, and now it's finally ready to unleash. With a guilty grin, he leans in and asks if adding more gadgets would really make the prince show up. Nah, the boys aren't buying it. Yeah, it just means I'm doomed to more late nights. The main crew at Lady Ennis. Yeah, these are the guys you should be watching. He kept pounding the door, waiting for someone to finally crack it open. A mannequin's magic whipped into his control, pulls him by the hand, and drags him inside. As he walks, he can't stop wondering, does that doll think on its own? Or is it just a puppet with strings? Then a veiled woman, Anastasia Alsarisman, steps in and greets Theodore like she's been waiting for him all along. The boys suddenly got hit with questions about that brand new ball. She shoves him a seat and tells him a morning visitor just left. Curiosity pique. Theo leans in and blurts out, wait, have you seen these mannequins before? She swears it's magic, but not in that way. Then the boy squints at the doll, sure it's hiding a spell that's forcing it to play loyal. Anastasia can't help but gush over how hard that mannequin just keeps working. He slides the tea toward him and orders him to sip right away before it turns cold. Our hero's spidey senses scream at him, but he downs the drink anyway. Suddenly, he slams the cup down and it explodes into a shower of shattered glass. Years pass, and Anastasia giggles like she just pulled off the ultimate all-round kiss. Now he's standing right under the fortune-teller's gaze. She tightens her grip on the spell, then freezes, trying to figure out exactly where to begin. Our hero's guard cracks open, and now he has to bare his darkest secrets to her. Anastasia leaned in and basically demanded, so come on, spill the tea and tell me your secrets and weak spots. After that thief stabbed me, the boy went from there because I couldn't wipe my PC's data anymore. The fortune teller locks eyes with the boy, completely baffled, like he just threw out an emoji and somehow the whole room got it. But before she can even get the words out, this wild energy surges around her like lightning, catching her up tight like a spellbound, magical burrito. The woman blurts out, wait, how did you do that? And our hero flashes a grin, swearing it all went down because of his anti-demon bling. Then the girl unleashes an entire army of mannequins on him, like she's running a Black Friday sale with weapons. With a roar, the hero yells for Ouroboros. Then bam, someone pops up out of nowhere, ready to party in his hands, like he's about to light the whole room on fire. With a sharp swing of his staff, the boy lays every mannequin flat in one brutal strike. Walking away, he left the fortune teller absolutely rattled. She's losing her mind, screaming about the chaos inside her house, and then bam! And just like that, he's suddenly plopped right inside a greenhouse. The hero's eyes lock onto an all-around sprout, and he realizes it's real. He finally clicks that this place is basically a toxic jungle waiting to swallow him. In the jungle, Anastasia storms in, dead serious, and asks why the heck he's even there. Yeah, it's a disaster already, but trust me, this chaos is about to hit like a huge oof. Oof, right out of nowhere, a fully armored skull comes crashing in with swords in hand, like a spooky surprise party. Theodore's shock hit when she pulled out a spa toy, a god-tier magical beast. But he's not scared, he barrels right at it, barking for it to move, but he shoved forward and lunged at him. Then those creatures busted out with magic of their own. And then poof, he vanished and reappeared behind him like a ninja ghost, striking out of nowhere. With its shield raised, the skull charges straight ahead. He darted at the boy, snapping his direction like a pro skater. But the spa toy aren't the ones pulling all the magic tricks. It's Anastasia, she's the one tugging every string. Theodore can already feel it. This fight is going to be a brutal slog, no matter how badly he wants to wipe it out with magic. Anastasia is wide awake to what's going on, so she dragged him here on purpose. Close by, the room is bursting at the seams with her crime evidence. She knows he'll clamp down on his power, holding back just enough to keep his magic perfectly intact. Then she clocks him sprinting forward with a magical blast because he knows short-range magic is exactly what wins when things get cramped. He fires off 6th-class earth magic, blasting out magnetic waves, and the skull's weapon gets yanked downward with a brutal snap, slid into the chaos, grabbing the moment and making it work. Right on cue, the hero whips his staff around and crashes the enemy into the ground with a bone-jarring slam. The fortune-teller's jaw hits the floor, staring at him like he's a full-on monster. Now he's barreling toward her at full speed. She shoots her arm up and tells him to chill, saying she can help him tame that power. Then Anastasia smiles and claims she's working for Princess Rosemary, and with one nod, he realizes she might be a huge deal. She's saying, seriously, maybe you could even be king. But while she's still talking, he suddenly strikes. The blast slams into her magic shield, and when Theo closes in, he tells her straight up he's got no interest in teaming up. All he wants is to clean up the noble's mess. Yes, the blast finally hits. She gets hurled, flying back like a cannon shot, smashing straight into the wall. Looks like she's knocked out cold, so the MC grabs her, ties her up, and hauls her straight to the royal palace. As he closes the distance, then it hits him. He's seen her face somewhere before, and it's suddenly staring him in the eyes. And she doesn't just fidget, she yanks down her veil, and it hits hard. This isn't some random girl, it's Princess Rosemary herself. Later, they're blazing back to the palace, and Theo's like, wait, how are royals behind this? She's not exactly a unicorn. Honestly, she's way more common than people act like. She tells him to his face that he should have joined her and calls him a fool for not doing it. But the hero's like, nah, I'm not joining up with someone sketchy. She demands, are you really sure, especially with me being the second princess? He hit me with, you drugged me. Like that was the final truth, so yeah. But he can't stop himself from asking, why did she slip information to Catherine and Byron? Was she just trying to pull him straight into some noble mess? She bursts out laughing and admits it. Yep, she did it on purpose to drag him into the drama. Now that he's a foreign ambassador, tracking him is almost impossible, so she leaned on the countess to do the dirty work for her. Turns out Byron's about as helpful as a chocolate teapot for this job, because even though he's Count Gartner's kid, he's nothing like the hero he just bolts off without a clue. Pure impulsive chaos. So the girl ate a huge hit, but she's grinning like nothing happened. She's shouting, I'm not giving up, like she's daring the world to stop her. This isn't the end of her story. Her final chapter is still coming. A few wild days pass and King Melvin storms up to the hero and orders him to bring Grace and Ashley straight to the palace. The boys are like, yeah, for sure. King shows up, and right when he arrives, King flips on his usual friendly charm, melting every cold vibe in the room. Melvin shouted for them to come over the moment Rosemary's trial ended because he wanted to deliver the news himself to make it feel extra legit. Because of her health, the second princess just got cut out of the throne, so now she's stuck chilling in the North Tower from here on out. This will shut down the rumors for good, because she's not dealing drugs in the palace. Theo broke into a grin, saying it was awesome to jump in and help out, and the king's about to unload another secret when suddenly every room in the place goes ice cold. Serious. That's why the king demanded the hero show up with his 2 fiancées to talk about something absolutely massive that hit them right in the heart. Everyone's sprawled and waiting at the palace, hanging on every second. Princess Marlene storms in, and right behind her is Albert. The king finally drops the bombshell. He wants it all. He's pushing Theodore to marry Marlene, like straight up making her his fiancée. Just like he said earlier, now that she's lost her voice, getting her married off is a whole other kind of problem. But she clicks instantly with the hero. Yeah, it kind of works because the king is laser focused on keeping that princess safe. So having her with Theo, the real deal, is a total win. The heroes were like, wait, so this is why my fiancée is here. She's checking if I can make this work. If you're cool with it. The king leans back, lets the trio talk it out, and tells them he'll stand by for their answer. Albert scoots in and asks the boy if he's told them about the disguises they used. Used it before your heroes loved it so much they practically ran to tell everyone back home. And yeah, they were blushing the whole time. The hero stares at his fiancée and demands, "What do you think about all of this?" Then Grace steps forward and takes the moment. He takes Marlene's hand and leans in, asking if she wants to keep working on that embroidery they started. Now the hero locks eyes with Marlene, and you can feel the tension snap in the air. He leaned in and asked for her thoughts. But she's trapped in silence, so Albert's tinkering with a wild magical gadget that'll let her finally talk, and he's carrying a prototype still in testing. But it already takes input and spits out text for now. He shoves it into the little princess's hands and tells her she can say anything she wants. Her eyes shimmered with tears as they welled up. She writes that she doesn't want to be a burden on them. Theodorus is like, wait, why do you think that? She says she begged her mum for help, but now she's convinced that was a huge mistake, and the hero finally clocks it. Marlene's blaming herself for her mum's death. She regretted asking for help the second she did it, especially now that she was stuck with them. She can't shake the fear she'd just weigh everyone down. The hero goes, listen, my mum was exactly like yours. So she could have blamed herself too, until he steps in and tells her, don't you dare take this on your shoulders. And he's begging for her caring nature to finally get noticed, because to him, she's never been a burden, not even once, and now she's furiously tapping away on the device. He leaned in, grinning, and asked her, so you're really staying with us? The three heroes break into smiles, and Theo just shrugs like, of course you can. And the rooms erupted with pure joy. The king breaks into a smile because everything finally falls into place. And Grace promises tomorrow's going to blow up with non-stop celebrations. Because Marlene just threw the ultimate welcome party. And that's when the MC's birthday hits right in the middle of all the chaos. The very next day, a gigantic party erupts like a thunderclap, pure chaos and hype from the first second. Everyone's out here living their best life, and the fun is non-stop. Everything's moving fast, and it's pure good vibes. And yep, Tarkot's here, right there, and his friends rush in one by one to throw him a Happy New Year cheer. After the last wild party was over, some guests kick off the fun and bounce around. All right, time to cut the chatter, cleanup starts now. So Theo heads to his room to finally chill, and with 2 parties and 1 packed night, the boys are blown away by just how many people actually showed up. Looks like he's fully locked in on the city life vibe now. He leaned out his window, locked eyes with the moon. Video suddenly, the main dude gets hit with it. Tomorrow's the day. Everything. The sky's about to blaze with a full moon night. No cap if the moon's power was climbing. This would be the perfect day for that ceremony, where they'd blend moon magic with the constellations and boom, any kind of creature could show up. Getting a bodyguard for Princess Marlene could be the smartest move in the whole story. Just saying, tomorrow, they're jumping straight into a summoning ceremony. Rosetta swooped back in and brought the heroes home, helping him snatch up the transition stones he needed for the summoning, as he fires her a grateful grin. In the atrium, the girl heard the boy was up to something awesome, and her curiosity went through the roof, so she swung by just to sneak a look at it. Turns out this magic circle is wildly complicated. This isn't something you pull off casually. There are 100 ways it can go wrong, and even if it does work, you've got no idea what might crawl out of the mess. In the end, the whole ritual feels like a pure roll the dice gamble. If you test it, you might end up summoning some ridiculously mega-strong random monsters. But today, Ashley's on a mission to track down her familiar, while Marlene's ready to snap up a summoning contract because this isn't some casual job for her. It's basically bodyguard duty, and Ashley needs backup to protect her back in that rear defense role. Rosetta can't help but wonder if that princess can really make it happen at the summit. Theo's got a smile on her face, and she's sure the summoning will work because she knows she can't miss. Girls have got mad skills now. Everything's about to go down. All set now, the adventurers crowd around the glowing magic circle. huddled close like their fate's about to snap into place. Ashley bolts forward and takes the first move. Climb down the major steps one by one. She pricks her finger just like that, and he breaks into a chant, summoning the ritual like it's already begun. She raises her sword high, aiming it straight at the moon. The middle circle explodes with chaos, and a massive surge of energy starts crackling in the air as once the light finally calms down, a wolf just there, right in the middle, stares you down. Grace can't stop thinking, is it really a wolf? Theodore jumps in. This isn't just any wolf. It's the one that commands ice and freezing cold. The snow wolf. This is Ashley's clutch moment. She can sling water magic, and she's facing a beast that's way beyond the low tiers. Ashley lights up, strides right up to the wolf, and declares that since it answered her call, she'll name it to lock in their bond. She finishes the ritual, then shuts it down in one breath and drops her full name like it's the final key, and then names the wolf Levine. The beast howls at the moon as their pact snaps shut. She lunges forward and steps right into the magic circle. Eyes squeezed shut, she thrusts her sword forward. A whole new wave of energy bursts in, out of nowhere, like a thunderclap that hits before you even see it coming. A bone-chilling night rolls in, and a Dullahan shows up with an unhinged dark aura that makes the air feel heavy. The main guy told her to imagine a knight as her protector, but he never saw this coming. A headless knight, way more monster than hero, but even if it looks undead, it's way more like a living spirit than a corpse. At least it's not a total disaster to look at. But the real question is this: what is Marlene going to do next? The headless knight strides up to the princess and drops into a deep bow, making her cheeks flare red and her smile light up. Everyone's locked in, totally focused, but you can feel the nerves crawling, like nobody knows how to deal with it yet. The knight's energy starts slipping away, and the whole world feels like it's drifting off into the unknown. Ashley tracks down the princess and makes sure everything went down without a hitch. Ermu Hilt blurts out that terrifying monsters are getting summoned, but Theo cuts through the panic and sets the record straight. They were the kind of creatures whose power felt unstoppable. The main dude couldn't shake the nerves. He was terrified of what they might summon, but he felt 10 times better seeing they were top-tier creatures. Meanwhile, flashbacks slam us into Varian, a city left to rot and swallowed by silence. Dora rolled in like a storm back when it was as famous as Taramwi in a grand country, but ever since the demon showdown, the whole place got shattered, and a cursed wasteland was left behind, empty and haunted for ages. In a lonely corner of the city, a massive sealed tree looms there, the Spirit Tree Garden. A long-haired guy stares up at the tree, then a voice hits him from out of nowhere, asks how Varios is holding up. Luterius watches, baffled, as the guy dawdles by that tree, and he mutters that even if the seal snaps while they're feeding him miasma, none of this feels any faster. But the real mind-blower is this: what happens when he finally unleashes his epic magic power? Because everyone swears this spot is the hardest to crack, she's letting it slide for now, but Varius admits he can't push past where he's stuck. And the second Luceriad shows up, you know she's already unsealed the area she controls. All right, the girl's finally got a break, so she's out there hunting for something absolutely epic to sink her teeth into. Ever since Zevon got completely whooped, the entire thermal air invasion plan slammed to a stop. She snaps back to it. Wait, the Twilight Forest sealed door is about to blow open, and since she's got zero plans, she's already deciding to go check it out. Various slips her a heads up that term now drops you straight into Demon Slayer territory, and they're posted at that door like losing it means the world runs out of pizza. But she's totally calm about it, like, yeah, a human took down Zivian, no big deal. Lukeridge gets all fired up and says, come on, bring some random person. But she shuts it down fast. Nope, a partner would totally ruin the vibe. She's 100% sure she's found the perfect person for the job. Now she just has to see if they're ready to jump into the adventure with her. Different watches her stride out, eyes locked on the door, thinking it's a classic move and betting everything on it. Demons sprinted toward their own doom with way too much delight. Theodore's buzzing with energy, practically vibrating as he fires the question, all right, squad, are we ready to go on this adventure? And they're buzzing with pure excitement. 6 adventurers hit the road for their next massive quest. Squad goals for real. They finally come face to face with the king. Yeah, the one who's kind of like, yep, right now, that sealed door is about to blow open. All right, now it's game time, no more messing around. Lady Penelope's research swears this goes down tomorrow. Yeah, totally no pressure, and those ancient texts insist a sphere holds the barrier up in the Moonlight Temple. So he's pinning everything on, snagging it. Safe for now, because when the demons finally hit, they're coming in hard. The second the door swings open, they're already laser-focused on that temple. But those foreign ambassadors, don't worry, demon busting is his bread and butter, and his crew's been grinding in the gym. The king shoots Marlene a sharp nod, telling her to slow down and take it easy. You don't have to go full beast mode. While everyone's ready and the king's got them in good spirits, the adventurers finally snap, this is it, go time. Time, because this squad has literally got everything they need. Warriors, mages, healers, ready to fight, cast and save the day. Warriors especially, the ones itching to go all in and unleash everything they've got. Now jump ahead to the Twilight Forest. Our heroes are going head first against a gnarly, toothy monster plan. When everyone teams up, the dream finally takes off. After Smackdown, they sprint straight for the sealed door, power surges, and Theo can feel the magic cranking up fast. Up seals are about to explode. The moment the door starts glowing, everything changes. Magic is in the air, and flowers explode into bloom like they can't hold back. Ashley's totally awestruck, those vibes hit like lightning. The main dude was stuck in his head, wondering if they weren't really supposed to be on a mission at all. He'd be dying to wander that magical forest, but Sheila's already got his back. He leans back like, right on the edge, and then it hits him. It's go time, for real. Time, screaming for everyone to ram the door and not quit until they smash into the sphere. Those catgirls suddenly felt it like a sixth sense, screaming, they spotted you, so they locked in and stayed razor sharp. A wild magic circle suddenly blooms right in the plants, like the forest just lit a fuse. He powered up with a black transition stone, no questions asked. Demons are tearing into our world right now. Lucridge pressed her hand to the door, and it burned like it meant business. Then the pattern hit her like a punch in the gut. The exact same one she'd received before Zevian dropped the ball. He should have handed over the location too, and now it's spiraling fast. So they had to lean on Lynette's teleportation just to sneak near humans with wild magical power. And when the demoness overheard the demon slayers call them just a kid, her curiosity went off the charts, because what kind of kid could pull that off? Meanwhile, inside the door, Grace elbows Theo and dares him to look at something way out in the distance. You can feel the sphere's raw power pulsing out of this weird pedestal thing. A final detail, her silhouette slips away through the sealed door, vanishing like it was never there. Her mission, lead them straight to the sphere. And she didn't just tell them, she slammed the warning into their heads about demon attacks. In a calm voice, she raises her hand, slow and deliberate. Her arm shot forward, commanding the demons to shut it and calm down. Out, she's the Labyrinth's guardian, and now she's about to stop them. To save it, she hurls out a colossal explosion straight at the adventurers. That blast was supposed to wipe out the demons charging right behind him. Didn't work, period. Lucridge and her sidekick are storming closer, right on their tails. Theodore's about to throw hands with the demoness, while Grace keeps the hooded one pinned down. The woman snaps into focus. These humans are her targets, and she rockets forward. She surged up, yelling at the demon slayer to treat her like she's about to steal his attention. Time, through the explosion's roaring dust, Theo and Lucridge clash, and the hero's already locked in. I'm hitting her with a killer first punch, maybe dropping her in one shot. He fires off a thunder magic lightning blast, charging it up like a storm about to explode. He fires it straight at the demoness, and she just grins wide as the attack lands. Whoa, plot twist. The lightning hits, and then it just fizzles out. Not a single scratch on the boy. Turns out the ladies shoved metal bits right into the miasma, turning it into a lightning rod that crackled with power. Smart move, right? The woman's got the whole thing locked in with that magic boost, and suddenly Sivan's cool as ice. She tells the hero to chill out, sink into the moment, and actually enjoy the ride. Then she turns to him and goes, "Hey, I'm a sword dancer. What's your name?" Theo goes, "I'm Theo," and she, "Cool, I'll carve you up, so bring your best. Because I'm here for a damn good time." Theo clenches his Ouroboros so hard it hurts, because this demoness isn't playing around. She's boxed in by a storm of swords. His grin turns feral, then he screams, "Let's kick this party into gear." Theo charges in like a storm, ready to go toe-to-toe. Meanwhile, hooded demons clocked Lucridge with hungry eyes, then got so caught up staring that they lost their focus. Grace's chains clamped shut, pinning him in place. She leaned in and goes, "What are you staring at?" Sheila barrels in for a closer look. The kitty hops on the demon's head like it's a trampoline and bounces off for more. But this demon rips his cloak, and suddenly asthma spreads in his arms as he bolts after her. Irma hilts spun around and shot arrows into their path, slamming them back before they could get through, sending the demons into a rage so intense it rattled the whole world. Ashley tightens her grip on her familiar and gears up for a deadly combo attack, hitting the villain with ice and fire images that land like a knockout punch. It's brutal, but the demons play dirty, gearing up for a strike, and Grace screams as everyone gets sent flying off the ground, and they scramble to dodge, staying out of harm's way. Yet the demons keep coming, right on their heels, and they start. His power keeps rising, and the girls go, "Wait, is that his real form?" A humanoid form bursts out of the darkness, and Sheila's just staring at him like, "So what now?" It finally cracked open the truth, an enemy that was a full-on dragon-human-earth mashup. Grace spots the earth splitting, grabs the main body, and they sprint to pull it out before it turns berserk. The maid's got a master plan, and everyone crowds in close, ready to move. Those demons heard I can munch on negative vibes, so now they're freaking out, because I'm not holding back. I'm eating you all instead. He swings again, but the adventurers slip out of the way like trained killers. Grace says, "All right, time to start the plan and roll out." She storms forward and leads the charge. They're well aware that clumsy attacks don't stand a chance. Slash it in front of them, make them snap their focus onto here. A crack of magic surged through everything. A raging blizzard slams down out of nowhere. But the demons didn't even flinch, taunting them right when he's about to brag and steal the spotlight. A colossal ice spear rockets in and pins him to the spot. Ashley's familiar drops in with Ice Magic Pro, totally free. It traps him mid-motion, freezing him solid while he's stuck. Grace and Sheila jumped in together, double-teaming him hard. Then Princess Marlene called them forth loud and urgent, calls forth her headless knight with a massive sword blazing as he charges in. The knight slammed down in a blur, landing a devastating blow on the demon dragon. Then it shattered into sand. Phew, we pulled it off. The demon ones fighting Theo spot it and go wide-eyed. Those girls actually beat Glimnerville. She stares like, whoa, the Demon Slayer squad is for real. And then Theo's like, thanks, right before for lunging straight at her, she tried to stop it, but she couldn't. Throw a few spells out there. Theo's already got a magic circle blazing in front of him. Her spells flare into sinister black orbs, snapping into place around him. She's staring like, wait, how is this kid that powerful? And it hits her in real time, realizing his nicknames weren't a joke at all. This was full-on artillery. She lunges in and throws a vicious close-range strike, like lining up for a strike straight for Theo's left arm. And then, out of nowhere, the kid busts out a ninja move like a total pro. Flex cracks his arm free and says, nice hit, finally, I got close to you. Then, boom, our MC unleashes a mega spell that totally scrambles Lukeridge's whole vibe. The villain gets absolutely roasted. Then she drops like a meteor. Yep, this is exactly what I signed up for. War rages on then. The hero snaps out a 5th-level spell, Grind Dust. It slams into her, and she lets out a scream like she's headlining a rock concert. She fires back, then breaks into this unstoppable grin, saying this is a wild ride, so how's he supposed to deal with it? Dealing with humans is a total roller coaster. Then she jerks her arm up and rips a skyscraper-sized sword from thin air. And for the first time since meeting them, she's so fired up, she might actually go full beast mode. Code, but our hero's chilling and no sweat, no stress. He's already got a magic circle lined up and ready to unleash. He knows Lukeridge's got assassin-level skills, one tiny slip, and it's instant game over. So the MCs landed their strongest plan, yet one spell so brutal, it sliced clean through that sword. He unleashes Q, the 9th-level spell, Tempest Drive Wind and Lightning whipping together, and boom, he blasts it straight into her face. There's no way she's dodging this. Her eyes are wild, like she's about to crash straight into fate. The demoness screams, this is pure epic, and she's panting hard. Our hero can't stop thinking, what if this is the last toast of the happy hour? The demoness crumples to the ground, throws in the towel, and declares this her final curtain call. The boys are just vibing with demons, watching them do their usual chaos, then, bam, poof, they're just gone. Lukeridge shrugs and says, for a demon, death's basically a wild day trip. She shoots her hand out toward the boy, reaching for him, saying she was relieved because he had finally become her last boss fight. and she's convinced he can head anywhere he wants, so Theodore just keeps moving, steamrolling forward with thoughts pounding in his head. Just straight-up demon chaos, but this time, he's absolutely wrecked broke in ways he didn't before. But he stays totally chill, because the adventurers swooped in and snatched the sphere first. As the dust finally clears, Theodore's squad charges in. Ashley is right there. Ashley, eyes full of worry, studies her fiancé's battle scars and braces herself to patch him up. But first, the dude turns to the crew and fires off a real thanks because they had his back. Then the healer steps in and whips out her magic, stitching up the gnarly cut on his arm in no time. With his arm back to brand new condition, Theo quickly scans the room, making sure everyone's all right and no one's hurt or busted up. Then he spots that place again, and the Guardian clicks back into place. He steps up like he owns the place, announcing he's the foreign ambassador standing there to represent King Melvin. Because they're all preaching peace, the MC can't help it. He wants to know her name, but she's not about to spill the tea. He tells her the king's orders are clear. They have to grab that sphere and keep it safe. And they don't back off. They lunge for the sphere. The hero gets hit with a weird déjà vu, and the girl shrugs it off. It's just a human thing. Keeping watch over the Moonlight Temple's seal is their entire mission. So she stepped in and revealed how the sphere shields it. Even though their goals line up, the boys can't help it. They're dying to know who she is and what she's really up to. So he leans in and asks, "Hey, do you know what's locked away inside the Moonlight Temple?" The mysterious girl insists she has no clue what happened inside the labyrinth, but she swears the demons are hunting something huge, locked away in the temple, and it looks like the protection is starting to crack, just like a shield under pressure, so the adventurer better move fast before that door slams shut. The woman begins to disappear, and the MC can't stop shouting in panic. He's shouting at her to hang on because he needs at least her name before he lets her slip away. Smiling sweetly, the girl tells him her name, Claudia, and then poof, she's gone. Back home, the boys roll in like legends, and Penelope greets them with a hero's welcome, firing off, "So how'd it go?" Theo thrusts the sphere into her hands, and she's already buzzing like, "Wait, let me see it." And the boy is about to blurt it out. He wants to ask what Lady Shua looks like. You can't tell her hair or eye color from that altar statue's angle. So yeah, looks are tricky. The moon's evolution is locked to that sealed gate. And Claudia looks exactly like the goddess people swear she's an absolute stunner, with hair that shines like pure moonlight. Then the hero snaps to it out of everything. The only thing they truly share is something long. Long hair swayed as the labyrinths rained down mysteries straight out of a detective novel, but 10 times wilder. Penelope spots Princess Marlene safe and totally unhurt, wraps her in a huge hug, and she blurts that it's been brutal for the young lady to dare the labyrinth, but it was her choice, and no matter what, she'll always have her friends' backs. Then the two of them just lock into a big, heartfelt hug and ride the moment out together. And Theo's just soaking up the whole heartwarming vibe like it's lights in his chest. Later, the whole squad rushes back to the king to report everything, who clocked the demon's sneak attack a mile away and thinks they can just sit tight and strike again the moment it shows up. The king hangs his head, guilty as hell for dragging the main guy back into demon watching. But the kids practically cheer. Yeah, that's exactly why you gave him that title. Ricardo's stuck with the job of guarding that sparkling sphere the adventurers just grabbed. While they're still tracking down the next sealed door, the king orders it, anyone with demon ties must be hunted down. Theo blurts out that a demon wrecked his arm in their last fight, and it mostly happened because he was running on fumes. So the kid makes a furious promise next time he'll be fully ready, and yeah, those demons better brace themselves for his terrifying, epic power. Melvin's cool even with one arm busted, and you're still leveling up your skills like a maniac. All right, just when you thought it was over, the main crew got handed yet another request. While he's got a little downtime before the next job kicks in, he decides to swing by Count Gartner's place because his mum's memorial ceremony is right around the corner. The king shrugs it off, but then drops the bomb he's not brought up what happens to the kids for his latest heroic stunt. This time, the king crushed it. He wants to reel him in and get him hooked up with a Wyvern palanquin, so much faster than that dull old carriage ever could. Theo's like, just borrowing one is cool, but the king hits back with, nah, your own ride and you're getting it. The king was so insanely grateful for everything those kids had done, like slamming demons into the dirt to keep the kingdom safe, because the hero never begged for fancy titles or anything. Melvin just wants to shower him with love after all that praise. The kid gets a little shy, but he still accepts the gift. And just like that, they're off hunting a wyvern next. And just like that, the sphere mission's wrapped up for good. And once they're done, the adventurers can bounce the moment they want. Inside the wyvern stable, a laid-back grin-faced dude steps up and greets our hero like he already knows the outcome. He overheard the heroes choosing a dragon to haul the palanquin. Since they're about to become BFFs, picking the one who totally matches his vibe is the smartest move. His staff suddenly starts acting out as they pass a certain cage, and the second they peek inside, they find the dragon. The kid's eyes widen. This dragon isn't just any dragon, it's bigger than all the rest. It's a black dragon blazing fast, brutally powerful, and so full of itself the size of its ego could swallow a whole mountain, making it a nightmare to deal with. Some tough guys got smashed by its tail because they weren't paying attention, and right as the kids were about to shout a warning here, right when he thinks he's safe, the dragon whips its tail and smashes him. He rockets forward and whips up a magic circle mid-air, and it slams clean onto the dragon's back. With a cheeky grin, the hero taunts, asks if the dragon's ready for a challenge, and just like that, boom, it rockets forward at lightning speed, even with all those wild, jaw-dropping moves. The hero can tell the dragon isn't trying to abandon him, so the brave kid finally swings his mastered the refined circulation technique to crank his speed way up, revealing the dragon's full power. Lock eyes and bam, that electric connection hits like thunder. A dragon rips across the sky, soaring like it owns the clouds. The sky stretched out above him, wide and breathtaking, like it was showing off for everyone. Even though it's his very first dragon ride, the hero absolutely crushes it. And it's even crazier, this writer gives that dragon a name. So now it's Lindworm game on. On the morning they were about to launch, Lindworm just pulled off the craziest trick he's got too, and hooked up his buddies to help carry the palanquin. Inside the palanquins, the cool didn't fade for a second, it stayed just as sharp as outside. Way too roomy. Like seriously, this place had space for days and then some. With everyone crammed in just fine, Theo shoots his dragon a grateful nod like, "Thanks, you've got us." The squad bursts into a brand new adventure, like the world's just opened up. Yeah, the girls are totally huddled up, chatting it up like they've got secrets to spill. Irma Hilt jammed on the instrument, adding to the chaos. Before they even realize it, they're at Count Gartner's place right now. The MC snaps at his dragon to touch down by the river, and towering trees loomed right beside the forest, swallowing the sky in green shadow. The second they land, the boys spring out of the plane. He pops back out, and the kid shows them where his mum's at right now. Grace is glowing with pure happiness, telling Lisa, "I never thought I'd get to see where I live with you again." Snow blankets everything, and the boys step back as the snow golems take over the shoveling. Step inside, and boom, you're in a fairy tale world, and Ashley's eyes are literally sparkling with pure, buzzing excitement. Because the main guy's heading over to see his mum tomorrow, everyone's packing in right now so they can crash there for the night. The girls flash wicked grins at Theo and tell him to relax because they're about to take over the chores. Our crew got hit with all the feels as they relived the good times that made them smile, especially when his mum used to cram lessons there. He remembers how she instantly hated him for snooping around because of all that crazy magical stuff. It's all wiped out as I dig around. He spots a cabinet with a weird, funky lock, but it's fine, no need to panic. Caduceus is all over it. The perfect key to get the job done. Trapped inside the locked room, there's this magical stone locked inside a tiny little box. He grabs the box, and it hits bam. A light bulb clicks on in his head. Right then, he storms over to Grace. He slides over like, "Got a sec," and immediately pushes for her take on the whole locked room mess. Grace says, if Lisa left something behind, Theo's the only one who should have it. And the moment she says that, you can feel the tension snap. Theo's riding high like he owns the whole world, realizing he's the one person she can't afford to lose. The moment they spotted the hidden clue, the stone slipped the secret to the next room, then hurried inside. He slams the door open, then blurts out an apology for barging in, bursts in and sprints downstairs, eyes locked on the exit. He stumbles into a room packed wall to wall with books. A battered notebook suddenly catches his attention. It's a magic research book, but it's packed with doodles from the same person who, he looked straight up bored, same exact vibe as his mum. Between the sketches, his eyes lock onto Grace's ring. That how to make it guide is right there, probably cooked up by Lee. Lisa, there's even more scribbled notes, and Theo snaps into action, taking charge of everything. For the legend of his incredible mum. Mum, wake up, it's freezing out there the next day. The trees are straight up, looking like giant popsicles, dripping in the breeze. A tearful voice breaks the silence. He's back home, and there's the grave of someone he loved more than anything. Lisa, the hero's mum, came in smiling, clutching a whole bundle of fresh flowers. He spills everything that's going on, tells her he's totally fine with his dad, and brags that he's surrounded by the coolest people alive. He gathers them all together, telling his mum, don't worry, everything's cool, like he's got it handled. He shut his eyes tight. He swears he'll come back next year with his whole squad, just for her. Flash forward. Our crews are packed onto the 20th floor of this twisted labyrinth. Theo double-checks everyone has their red transport stone, because this quick getaway can't wait. Tonight, they're scouting the night zone mostly underwater, so magic isn't optional, it's required. First up, Theo charges in and shows them exactly how to dive. They move as one, and he snaps out a 4th-level spell, Bubble Shield. This part's a little tricky, so the girls have to slow down for now. Let them feel it out until they finally get the hang of it. Ashley leans in and thanks Theo for the little favor. The moment the elevator jolts up toward the Baron's lands, where she finally got to sink into a real chat with Kennel, Ashley, the hotel's big deal, stands out to him like the most important thing in the world. He said it, and right there, her cheeks flared red as a huge smile broke across her face. Sheila just bursts in and jams her face right into their bubble. She finally snapped because they were dragging their feet, but then they rushed over to apologize and swore they'd be quick from now on. Now every adventurer is sealed inside their own bubble, and they're about to dive headfirst into the underwater world. Irma Hilt swears it feels like she's drifting in mid-air, and Sheila blurts that her feet feel totally off. Grace tells them, till it feels normal, I'll take the lead, and Theo, you've got the rear covered. They move with laser focus, checking every detail as they go. Let's just hope that Vampire's senses don't pick up what's about to come. A raging swarm of silver fish with razor teeth, snapping and circling like a living nightmare. Theo tells everyone, stay calm, lock in, and get ready. Those bubbles look tough, but one hard hit could shatter them in seconds. So if they go in swinging, aim right where the fish burst through the bubble. Irma Hilt, a ruthless pro who tears the sky open with her bow. Theo catches a totally new twang of strings. The sound slices right through the water, spreading like a warning. Or totally losing it and freaking out the fish. Princess Marlene barrels forward, no hesitation. She unleashed her 3rd-tier lightning spell, ripping through the air with raw power. Whoa, Stunbolt here hits like a truck underwater. It's insanely effective. Her familiar spots started popping up again. Then more baddies came swarming in. Then bam, here comes a giant muddy squid. All right, our hero's fully geared up. He tells everyone to calm down, and he's like, relax, I've got this. Then bam, the squid yanks a nasty trick, blasting ink all over the place. And now our dude is totally blind, like the world just got yanked out from his eyes. Turns out the squid wasn't hunting Theo at all. It was all about Irma Hilt. In this epic moment, our hero shouts at Lamia to slam her magic stone and bounce them out of there. There? Wait, oops. She can't move her arms at all. Out of nowhere, bam, a blinding flash tears the air, followed by a thunderous boom. Squid bits are scattered everywhere, drifting through the air like a gruesome confetti storm, thanks to our cat girl who just snatched victory from disaster. While Sheila's busy reuniting with her friends, the ambassadors were set loose to deal with that sneaky squid. And just like that, everything changes. Our hero tears into that massive beast and brings it down. Then, a while later, he's all, my bad, Irma Hilt, tell me you felt that coming. For throwing her straight into danger. Lamia stayed cool, admitted it was risky as hell, and somehow against all odds, it all worked out. First, they have to crack how to breathe underwater. Maybe some wild magic gadget is the key. Alfred's the guy you call when it comes to this kind of problem. The crew finally bumps into Alfred and Theo like, for real, and everything clicks into place. I'll take care of the specs you sent now. Alfred, you handle the rest. All right, if that's what you want, you got it. Consider it handled. Fast forward, Theo's leaned in, jaw working as he chats straight with the king. King blurted that the labyrinth was way harsher than he ever imagined. Mildred brings up how brutal the night gets in the water zone, so they have to go all in and prep like crazy. Theo's just asked for some underwater gear. He's convinced it'll make everything a whole lot easier. So they decide to pause the whole exploration and wait until they're fully ready. Mildred chuckled with a wicked grin and told the hero, "Guess what? There's a brand new gig coming your way." Totally switching gears, something completely different is about to hit. Turns out it's not just weird, it's a full-blown ghost problem. And Theo suddenly felt spooked out of nowhere. Ghost sightings are blowing up everywhere. Mostly after dark, people are staring up and spotting pale white shadows streaking through the sky. The night slammed into it. But with all the reports stacking up, they're getting stretched paper thin. Theo's mind was racing. If these ghosts were demons, this was about to get ugly fast. But every adventurer swears it's not that simple. Mercedes pushed for the knights to join forces with battle-tested adventurers this time, so the Adventurers Guild steps in to wrestle this spooky chaos back under control. Good news, nobody's hurt yet, but they've got to fix it fast or the whole city's gonna spiral. I'm locked in with a determined vibe, no way I'm letting our city get wrecked. Once he finally grasps what's on the line, he nods and agrees to jump in. And the king grabs him and orders him to investigate it. Hit up the guild and get the full scoop. Later, the ambassador storms into the Adventurers Guild like he's got secrets to cash in, which is buzzing with non-stop action. Night patrols are running every single day, and if this keeps up, it won't be long before everyone gets wiped out. All right, our guy knows he's got to crack this case. ASAP, no delays, no excuses. He barrels into Mercedes-Benz by accident. She's clearly stressed, and she quickly breaks down, apologizing for not taking it on alone. She told me, "I called the guild because they're insanely helpful in the labyrinth." Theo grins from ear to ear, ready to jump in and help out with the ghost gig. But he still needs more answers, and that shocks Heather, so she wastes no time, promises to arrange a meeting with the guildmaster, and before long, she drags him into a room. Theo's stunned to discover the guildmaster there's an elf named Arya. She gestures for him to sit, slides over a cup of tea, and pulls him into a face-to-face chat. He throws a grateful smile her way. Then the moment still doesn't land because she cuts him off before he can finish, but clocks the look Arya shoots him like she's dying to know what he's thinking. She points out his eye and hair color, then says it's exactly like Lisa's kid. Theo's jaw drops and he blurts out, "Arya, did you know my mum?" "Mum," and she tells me Lisa was a massive lifesaver back in those days. Now Arya finally realizes she has to confess everything about the city's ghost drama, because then she just drops the bomb. But Theo's way, more fired up to hear about his mum, Lisa first. Arya sat back and sipped her tea like she had all the time in the world. She spilled the details about her very first meetup with Lisa. She spills the tea, and it's a full-blown disaster. Like people were getting smashed left and right, no time to breathe, and the guild was completely overwhelmed. The injured list kept ballooning faster than a viral TikTok, and even with the whole guild throwing themselves in, there was still no slowing it down, and somehow they were still running short on hands. Then boom, Lisa, Theo's mum, storms in and dives right into the middle of it. She just wrecks the battlefield, healing everybody with her magic like she's the boss. Loss tore at them, but somehow, thanks to her, everyone made it through. And the wildest part about Lisa that day, she drained every last drop of magic, then collapsed and passed out cold. She slipped away anyway because she was the guild's hero, a walking legend. Even though she'd just rolled into town, she was ridiculously chill and instantly friendly. Theo's mind is blown. He had zero idea his mum came from somewhere else. He fires off to Arya, asking where Lisa is even from, and Arya just shrugs. "Nope, I've got nothing. Nope, every adventurer's got a past that built them, and it never just disappears." Secretly, but you can totally feel it in Lisa's spell style, Arya reckons she's from the northern island of Silvertoria, Magic Central. Silvertoria is a whole different kind of world because here magic runs the show. With research exploding way ahead of the term wills, they've got Sage Academy top-tier magic school, and Theo cracks the magic lock. He yanked the drawer open, and it wasn't even close to what he expected. The patterns in that notebook were totally unique, and inside he found wild spells and coded secrets scribbled everywhere. Probably Silvertorian too now, with all this info. Theo's primed to rip open the notebook's secrets. Arya peers into Theo's face, searching for any sign he's okay, because this story is about to ignite and hit like a firework. Gotta stay laser-focused because Theos is like, that's enough for now because even if he wanted the scoop earlier, this moment was cut off. The more he digs into his mum's past, the sharper every one of his memories becomes. So they slam the conversation back onto the creepy stuff happening all around. The guild has been hot on the trail. These creepy ghost things creep in after dark, vanish in a blink, leave everyone untouched. But yeah, the mystery keeps getting louder. And on top of all that, a super creepy ghost just stares at him like it's trapped in agony, acting all weird. He's got to get sorted out before things spiral into a total mess. Theos wondered had this term wills been here before, but Ori's like, nah, it's nothing like that. And he just keeps saying it on repeat. Theo's like, this heat has to mean something, and he fires back, asking if there's any other weird stuff cooking around town. Ori's mind goes totally blank, but Theo leans in and drops the idea that those nasty bad vibes could be the real clue. He can't spill every secret, but something shady's definitely going down because a demon invasion just tore through the labyrinth. The guildmaster caught wind of it, and Theo stormed in as the hero who brought them down. Then Ghost showed up the second it was over. So yeah, those nasty demons aren't only haunting the labyrinth anymore, they're starting to look at the city too. So they cling to that hunch for now, using it like a compass to steer their investigation. That Ghost's moves are all over the place, and it's weird it hasn't sparked any chaos yet, because if a low-level ghost starts giving off demon vibes, you'd expect trouble to hit any second. With that hurt, haunted stare, it's like the ghost is begging, trying to warn people that something's wrong. Silence doesn't last when the spirits have something to say. They don't whisper, they show up. The guildmaster leans in and swears her village is brimming with spirit. She used to shoot the breeze with them all the time when she was a kid. Suddenly, Theo's brain sparks like a light bulb turning on. I bet the ghostly chaos was stirred up by a spirit, because the big high-level ones are way harder for demons to mess with, and they usually don't go around hurting people. Those people look at that ghost's agony face. It's screaming like it's got a message aimed straight at humans. Moments, Oreo's on board whispering, spirits get mad when outside junk messes with their vibe. All right, hold on tight, because things are about to get insanely wild. So picture this. There's this spirit with a huge ego and zero chill, while the low-key ones are way easier to mess with, so it's not like they're trying to show up. The guildmaster slams a map onto the table and says, and it basically spells out where the spirits are popping up all over town, straight up ghost party streets. Dude, from what they've seen, it's probably being sparked by some kind of magical PowerPoints. Places bursting with mana are basically monster billboards. Either some weird darkness did it, or it's just the land itself. And if all that mana is the demons doing, oh no, then quietly some mana-spewing items probably slipped in to mess with the spirits Ori is focused on beefing up patrols. But the hero's like, nah, I've got this. And in exchange, everybody on patrol finally drops their guard, kicks back, and catches a few Z's. The guildmaster can't stop wondering, can this kid truly carry it all? It's a huge territory, but our heroes didn't roll in alone. They showed up with a whole squad. The lady shoots him a warning, don't get cocky, because if that spirit starts acting up, you're in big trouble. But trust me, let them try it. I'll handle it. Our crew straps on their gear and charges straight into the next mission. The MC rips apart every patrol spot and lays out exactly what they're hunting. And once they lock onto the target, he demands instant updates through Caduceus, then Ashley, Sheila, and Theodore peel off right after. The guildmaster fires off, trust me, one hyperactive ghost or spirit is trouble, no matter what hits next. With a real shot at sparking chaos, they had to step in fast and calm things down before anyone got hurt. The heroes tear through the city looking for it, but so far no one's tracked us. There's only one last spot left to check, and it could blow the whole case wide open. The boys catch a suspicious shadow creeping in way too shady to ignore, so it's the spirit. Aurea storms in the moment she hears they nailed the target, and the ladies go wide-eyed because they pulled it off in just one night. When the guildmaster leans in, he realizes this isn't a ghost after all, but it's more like a spirit or a fairy one wrong move, and it goes totally unstable. She can already feel it. This is going to be brutal. But the protagonist flashes a grin and says, yeah, this is exactly why I'm here. It's a lightning-fast spirit packed with magic, so it can hurl spells at will. So yeah, spells coming. So slam a counterspell on everyone right now, just to be safe. Theodore slams a magical barrier down, sealing off the entire area like it's mission lockdown. so there's no way the target can bail. Then Miss Oria steps in and tries to charm the spirit into doing what she wants. It doesn't take long before the creature comes crashing into the scene. Theo spots the guildmaster looking wrecked, and he immediately throws himself in front to shield him. The lady spots the target so completely off course it can't even manage a decent conversation. The heroes can't do a thing yet, so they push forward to reach the spirit, draining its extra magic until they finally can talk to it. The mage slams his Ouroboros up like a living shield, trying to shut down the target's attack before it lands, and tells Sheila to hold back on the main body, strip every last drop of magic away. The kids pile in and then go straight into the attack. Ashley knows she has to unleash that magic right now. Magic hurls her blizzard storm at the target, and her familiars surge in to back her up. The spirit shrieks, and as the power surges through it, the sound echoes like thunder. Theo catches a totally new magical vibe in the air. A shadowy figure slips into view, like trouble crawling out of the dark. She looked like a half-human, half-dragon girl, like two worlds fused into one wild body. And before she even finishes, she starts screaming like a maniac, and Oria realizes it's a jaw-dropping sonic shockwave, forged and powered by magic. And that barrier, it's not standing a chance. The Baroness snaps into action and starts weaving a powerful magical. He whirls around and screams Theodore's name at the top of his lungs. The MC is on a mission free the spirit before that magic swallows it whole, and unleashes 8th level fire magic Furnace Flame. Magic slams straight into the target, and boom, a thunderous crack echoes through the air. The heroes watching this, always armed with a little burst of energy in their pocket. The energy ball slams into the boy's hands. Hands right there. A tiny fairy flashes angelic eyes like she belongs in the sky. Theo rushes over to check if she's okay, and she reassures him she's fine. Oria steps in, and it hits them. They can finally talk now, so she leans in and asks what on earth was tormenting that creature so badly. The fairy drops the adventurers at a long-forgotten house, abandoned for ages, like a ghost that never left. The doors staying locked, so Sheila's on lock duty. The second the ferry doors crack open, it rockets straight into a room that's totally trashed. Dark energies leaked out from the very heart of it. A cursed sphere spits out vicious miasma, and it looks like this thing is the fairy's corruption source. From the lab, it practically screams sphere. That's exactly what it looks like. And inside this labyrinth, there's also a black teleportation stone lurking in the shadows. The guildmaster once got word that someone was using a stone for straight-up crimes, and yeah, it's kinda sus, right? Anyway, that magic circle can pull the same trick, like when the boy spotted a demoness just lounging beside the sealed door. This stone is probably the demon's secret key, meant to blow up the capital's party in one brutal strike. And then there was another one in the house. The demoness left it behind in the labyrinth, and the heroes stumbled onto it like it was waiting for them. But here's the weird part: if Theo were a demon, he'd stash that stone, right? Yet the baddies just left it there, as if they didn't care. It would expose their hideout. A fairy from some haunted house just shows up, and that stone hits like the demons had zero clue this plot twist was coming. Since everything's locked to the labyrinth sphere, the adventurers grab the stone and rush it straight to the royal palace. Palace walls shook as they crushed the mission to the finish. Then they yanked the stone and the sphere free, zapped the leftover magic, and he pockets his next move until they're back at the guild. Later, the little fairies still hung out on the hero's shoulder, totally unbothered. Vibing hard with him, she wipes at watery eyes and asks if they can stick together. Araya cracks a joke about tossing a fairy into the squad. The guildmaster urges them to name the fairy because it forges a stronger bond and keeps her from getting pulled in by anyone else. After a quick think, the hours kept ticking on. The boy named her Serafina, and she lights up, totally loving every second of it. The guild fought off the demon mist, and then the ghost slipped into the fam. The magic crew barrels toward the royal castle in no time, and the king himself thanks them for all that non-stop hustle and handing Theo the spirit and watching him slam peace back into the city. Now, about that demon sphere, King Ricardo and the experts need to get over there and inspect it. The boy strides away, riding the wave of pure accomplishment. Now they're staring at that magical water vein again, wondering how on earth they'll crack it this time. But then, wham, a shout rips through his thoughts. Just got back from that exchange, totally buzzing, demanding to know what's going on. The dude yanks the hero by the collar and explodes into a full-on rant. Theo's out here planting seeds, but he has zero idea who this guy even is. because it's Helfried, the third prince, and her brother right there sharing a bloodline bond with the second princess, Rosemary. Fire blazed in his eyes as he demanded to see his sister, the one the MC was allegedly responsible for taking. He tried to get to the North Tower where she's trapped, but the place shut him down cold, no access without permission, so he turns the hunt on the king, hears he's meeting the hero, and thinks the hero's probably the only one with the right connections, since this whole mess got tangled with his sister's drama. Theodore tells her, "I could come see you," then shuts it down fast because it's pointless, and trying to drag Her Highness into the world like this would be a total mess, and the young man's temper flares hot, like it's about to explode. Chester finally barges in, slaps the hero's shoulder, and demands permission to go on, because he's secretly thanking the princess's brother for everything, and hooking up with his brother could be his chance to finally show his thanks somehow. The hero picks up the vibe, nods, and asks if Chester wants to come along. Then the knight basically goes, "Nah, you're good." So yeah, it's just Theodore and Helfrey, and that's it. He breaks free and sprints off to the princess they've sealed away. They push north, racing toward the tower, and the second they finally reach it, Rosemary was messing with some books, like she was up to something. With a wicked grin, she greets you like she already knows your next move. He waves them in and says she's thrilled the hero's come, but the boys, not here to mess around. Her brother says, "I'm not here for fun," and then he cuts himself off. He hasn't seen her in ages, just came home from his exchange program, and his whole world tilts when he learns she's been trapped, caught by some stinky wizard. The young man heard her plan got wrecked, but he refuses to believe it. He's convinced she was set up. With a serene stare, the princess finally admits the wizard totally botched her plans. She leans in and asks the young man why she's so brutal to the other royals, then reveals the truth. She refuses to get attached to her succession rhyme. Rivals at first, but then, boom, he's her brother. She's got to be nice, no exceptions, because she's young. Young man was no threat to her at all. He didn't even have her. Try your luck at becoming king. Those vicious words slammed into the boy's heart like a wrecking ball, and he tore out of there on pure instinct. You really just ignore the chaos you unleashed on your bro like that. The girl leans in and says she wants to talk to the main guy right now. Rosemary slams into him with questions, grilling him hard about every inch of where that sealed door is. The boys already scouted the Forest of Darkness and the Great Wasted Lake like they were hunting a way out. The last two are the Magic Light Water Vein and the Scorching Fortress, both blazing paths that eventually slam into the spiritual sanctuary. The main dude can't wrap his head around it. Why does that girl know so much about the labyrinth if she's getting absolutely nothing out of it? Turns out the princess has been stacking books in her spare time, and tucked away in them are tons of ancient scrolls that spell out the labyrinth. Turns out the kingdom still believes Rosemary's hiding some serious brain power, so they put it to work because when the full moon hits, you can slip out of the hidden labyrinth through a secret gate. And yeah, there's also a route straight to the Temple of Moonlight, and the legend says it holds a secret. 4 pairs of glowing orbs sealed away some world-ending calamity, and yeah, that info is absolutely wild. The boy's like, maybe I should hit the king and get the full scoop. The princess suddenly leans in and spills the gossip. Marlene just married someone from the main dude's family, and just like that, now he's got the power to keep her safe. Plus, she tossed the whole throne mess aside, and that poison nightmare never came back. The princess flashes a grin and fires back, asking the hero if he really thinks she wanted to mess with Marlene. The wizard snaps, saying the poison stole the young lady's voice. Rosemary locks eyes with Theodore and whispers, "What would you do if you knew that girl's voice could be brought back?" With a dead serious tone, the main guy presses her, asking if the princess is trying to make a deal with him. The girl snaps that she just wants to stamp out this rumor that she poisoned anyone. If she truly wanted to steal someone's voice, she wouldn't hesitate. She'd snatch it clean and right away. All right, he clocks that she might be right, flashes her a cheeky wink and blurts sorry like the finger-pointing hit a nerve. Then he leans in and demands, "So what did it take to get Marlene's voice back?" From the way she's acting, that sea witch's elixir is the culprit, some wicked magic trick that drains the voice straight out of anyone who dares to drink it. So they had to hunt it down fast, because that stolen voice was probably trapped in some hidden container out there. The girl unveils the poison recipe, sprinkling in rare, deadly ingredients like it's all part of her master plan, so they can track down the culprit from here. If the main guy snags the culprit, that evidence print, the princess is counting on him to back her up. And the boy's like, "Yeah, I'm in." Smash that notification bell. TOB's channel is where the time flies.